up, Legion? This is a historic episode for us. This is the first time I Still Call It a Lariat is going live. That's right, we are live and in living color like superstar Billy Graham. And with me today to talk about, oh, by the way, I am Steve Zaff. See that when we're live, I forget my own stuff. With me today to talk about Forbidden Door 2025. My boy Slim Burgundy is back with us, my AEW expert, if you will. And of course, the new star of I Still Call It a Lariat, the one, the only Mozart Fontaine. Boys, how you doing today?
I'm awesome. Good to see you, boys.
You know how this day has been going and all. So this is going to be an
Yeah.
interesting,
Well, I'm
Listen,
gonna.
hopefully I won't offend anybody too much today. And if you do, send all your emails to Mozart Fontaine.
Yeah,
actually, Howard Morgan. Howard
Howard
Morgan
Morgan,
gets
yes.
gets
Send them
gets
all
it
to
all.
Howard Morgan, exactly.
send it. Yeah, Howard will take them.
Same as we're starting a wrestling promotion with Howard's money.
Yeah, we decided to be Howard's money now. It won't be mine. Yeah.
Well,
No.
not all of us, make the big bucks that Howard and Brady and people like that do. So,
I mean, exactly. Howard. I don't have any money. I was like, but Howard, but you're living large, man. Like somebody's got to have the money. It's not me.
So,
I don't care if I had a zillion dollars. I still wouldn't open a wrestling promotion. It'd be with Howard's money.
all right, boys, real quick before we get into important wrestling talk, I want to give a shout out to some of the nonprofits that we help out with all the time. This is the first time we're doing it live, so I definitely want to get that out there. Obviously, the first one is always Tap Cancer Out, series of jiu-jitsu tournaments that helps out with Alex's Lemonade Stand, American Brain Tumor Association, Isabel Santos Foundation, Little Pink Houses of Hope, Camp Sunshine, Christopher's Haven, the Sidney Kimmel Comprehensive Cancer Center at Johns Hopkins, CureCervicalCancer.org, First Descents, the Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, and of course, my favorite, your favorite, everyone's favorite, Tom Coughlin's J Fund. We also love to endorse the American Red Cross and their varying disaster relief funds. Guys, all of the information for these are going to be in our description below. I don't know what it looks like on your screen, but however you guys are looking at it, our descriptions will have the information, or any of our social media accounts have it. Also, as always, I like to point out that we love to help out Papa Stro after having Slim on the show a few times. We have his GoFundMe still up on there. And
Not Slim's GoFundMe, but Papa Stroh's.
Papa Stro, I'm sorry, the Maestro's GoFundMe. And the last one, and I have seen some really cool footage of him working out now, and that is Chris Bay's GoFundMe after his horrific neck surgery. I saw a video of him in the gym working out like a monster.
Wow.
He's actually bigger than he was when he was wrestling, and like in a good way. Like I think he's got some meat on his bones. I think he's finally able to get I think he might be working back to an in-ring comeback, which that excites me because anyone that is that talented, I selfishly, I say it all the time, I want him back in the ring.
Yeah.
Unselfishly, I'm just happy he's making the type of progress he's making. But boys, I heard, as always, we are supposed to talk about wrestling on this show.
Wait, what?
What's that?
I thought we were going to talk about Mozart's search history on his.
Oh my God! Yeah.
We might
how to
talk about
properly use
that
kitchen
as
knives
well.
as self-defense weapons. I mean, you name it, it's on there. There's also, I think I looked up the lyrics to Rock of Ages. I mean, it was crazy. I don't even know what I was thinking.
Perfect. So guys, I'm gonna ask, what are you most excited for the show? I know Mozart, said you were excited for some of the stuff.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna start with Slim on this one though. Slim, what match do you think has you most excited for this?
I just because I've told you many a time, I think she is the all-around best wrestler, period, in the industry today, and that's Tony Storm versus Athena, because Athena is uber talented as well. Like, so that
Very,
match
very
should
talented.
be absolutely fantastic.
I think that's gonna be a really good one. I'm scared of the placement of that match on the card though. I think that unfortunately, I think they're going to put that late in the show, and I think it deserves to be late in the show, but I also think it might not do it any favors being surrounded by some of the stuff that it might be surrounded by.
Well, what if they opened with that match? Do you think that would make for an interesting opener?
I would be happy with that. I think if they went from that as opposed to the match that I actually have opening on my list, I think that would work. Mozart, you said you were real interested in the tag team three-way match
Oh my God, yeah.
uh with
That's
the
my yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
with the Hurt Syndicate, FDR, and the tag team newly christened as Brodito, Bandito and Brody King. Bandito, I think, is like the luchador they need to hitch their wagon to
Yeah,
realistically.
He
for
is
sure.
talented.
I think didn't they took a hit not too long ago, losing like the Lucha Brothers and things. So yeah, he's probably the guy to. But I think I'm a tag guy, so like that's my favorite thing to do is like tag wrestling. And FTR at one point, and maybe still was right up there, one of the top teams there are in the in the business. Man, the Hurt Syndicate. We talked about this offline. Like, who do you put in the ring with the Hurt Syndicate to make them? Who can even stand in the ring with them? Well, Brody
Honestly, it's
King.
like these two teams are
So yeah,
kind of
so
where it's at right now because, like I
yeah,
said, Bandito is a bigger luchador.
yeah,
He has enough size and strength to make me believe that he can fight you.
right.
And then Brody King is what, 6'7",
So
6'8"?
yeah, so he's the muscle and the power of the team, and you get a nice dynamic, I think, because you've got. I tend to lean toward traditional tag wrestling. I think that sometimes when we try to get too innovative, we get too silly at the same time. But I think you're going to see a solid. You're going to see some innovative work because Shelton's in the ring, Bandito's in the ring, so you'll see some definitely some cool moves. You'll see the real in and out tag work from FTR, the real technical Tully Blanchard, Torrin Anderson, if you will, type of tag wrestling, the throwback to the rock and rolls, to the midnights, to all the yesteryear tag teams that popularized it really. And then the Hurt Syndicate is just, probably for lack of a better explanation, the Road Warriors meets like the British Bulldogs. They have a real solid move set, but there's just that brutality and power behind, especially Bobby Lashley too.
I mean, Bobby Lashley is he's an
He's a
absolute
freak.
beast.
Yeah, but obviously,
I'm super excited for this. I really am. So let's get down to it. Let's get into the show a bit. So the match I actually have opening the card, and Slim and I talked a little bit beforehand about this. I think this is a solid match, a solid plan for the opening match. If they don't go Tony Storm and Athena, which I honestly don't think they will. Just the way that they normally book their shows. And that is going to be Zack Sabre Jr. defending his IWGP world title. So IWGP is the New Japan World Heavyweight title, just so that everyone is aware, against Nigel McGuinness in what many people have called a dream match. I'm super excited for this. I've only recently come along a little bit more on Zack Sabre Jr. because, as technically sound as he was, it's only been in the last couple of years that he's kind of put on a little bit more size, and it makes me believe him a little bit more. And Nigel seems like he's getting back into his groove a little bit, so I'm super excited for this. Mozart,
The new movie,
you
how Nigel got his groove back.
yeah,
this is how Nigel got his groove back. It's gonna be a new movie, brand new movie, just came out yesterday.
yeah.
Mozart, what do you think about this? Are you familiar with Zack Sabre at all?
hmm
Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I like the his technical ability. That's what I always liked about. I tend to lean toward the guys who have that whether they're working villain, hero. I like the technical ability, like say like a Lord Steven Regal, William Regal. So that's kind of, I think Zach's kind of in that vein a little bit, with a little bit of acrobatics to. Yeah, I've seen a few matches of his, and I really dig them. Actually, oddly enough, I'm less familiar with Nigel, although I know who Nigel is from the States more. You know what I mean? But just not as familiar with his work. But I think they make a good pairing in the ring. I think it's a good opening match for excitement. There's something at stake. Um, Again, for anybody watching, I think we've talked about this many times. At least Steve and I have, maybe Slim and I offline. When you open a card these days, you need it to be really important. So you've got the importance of the IWGP Heavyweight Title, and you've got two guys that are going to deliver an exciting match. So I'd be great. I'd be fine with that with an opening match, honestly.
And they're in the O2 Arena in London, and both these guys are British born.
Yep.
I did not know they were 0-2. Okay, so yeah, that's probably going to be the opening match.
I think this is a perfect.
Yeah.
I think this is a really good opening match for them to do. Slim, what are your thoughts on this match? Because this is kind of the wrestling fans' wet dream match.
All right, so I'm gonna jump back first for a second. I'm gonna go back a week to Collision of last week, and that four-way match. They did a fantastic job in that match. That made me feel Nigel, like you said, is getting his groove back. Like he's getting back into things. Like I'll admit, just like Mozart, I wasn't super familiar with either guy really until Forbidden Door, what, maybe 2 or 3 years ago when you had Zack Sabre Jr. and I was like, oh damn, dude's talented, really,
Mhm.
really good wrestler. And then with Nigel when he made his comeback in the ring, because I was like, he's a commentator, who cares? But then when he came in all in and made it, and it was like, oh, I really do need to go back and look at a little bit more of his ability, especially like in Ring of Honor and the like. So both of them are very talented.
Mhm.
And again, I'm going to finish with Collision and then I'll jump into this. The way they set that up last week with the double submission, trying to, who's going to tap first, and then when Nigel did the, what is it, like the London Bridge? I forget what he calls that, his armbar there. I honestly thought, like, I felt like it was legit. He was ripping the guy's shoulder out of his socket. I was like, oh my God. Like, you better be flexible if you get that move put on you.
Mhm.
So I really liked it. And they did, and here's why I bring up Collision. Then after the match where he asks, what's his name?
Daniel Garcia.
Daniel Garcia, thank you. Asking Daniel Garcia to be in his corner. I just kind of got the feelings of a little bit of a heel turn being planted. So it kind of had me a little excited. Now, I could see it one of two ways happening that has me so excited. I think it could be a great match, clean finish, Nigel wins, or a great match, Daniel Garcia costs Nigel the win, so Zack Sabre keeps it. I could see, and I get, technically yes, I could still see Zack Sabre winning
I
clean too. But
I think Zack Sabre. So here's the thing. I'm only going to slightly disagree with you on this one. I do think Zack Sabre wins this cleanly.
okay,
I think it's going to be a situation where, and I think it might be a situation where Zack Sabre wins it cleanly with a wrestling hold, not necessarily a submission hold, but like a roll up, some sort of combination reversal, move for move for move for move for move, and then all of a sudden Zack Sabre gets the last pinning combination, and 1, 2, 3, Nigel McGuinness loses. But if you lose to a wrestling hold, is there really, like, it's not disrespectful, especially not to the two-time IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. You know what I'm saying?
sure.
I could see it being a situation where Garcia picks him up afterwards to like dust him off and then plows him. Just
And the funny
beats
thing is, I could just as easily see a situation where he picks him up and they're going for a slow burn. He picks him up, gives him a hug, something,
and
and
then
they're
gives him like you almost
slow,
see the look and like
yeah,
teases it, and then we'll see it at
maybe a
what
couple
is it?
months
All
down the
Out.
line or something. Yeah. Maybe I'm weird and Mozart, we've talked about this, that with the idea of the quick, maneuver versus the slow burn.
Mhm.
And I love the slow burn. Because I feel like sometimes things can be very rushed,
Yeah.
which I was worried about with the Edge and Christian that it was going to be rushed. But when we get to that, I'll give you my thoughts on that. But as far as
Mhm.
the match itself should be fantastic. I kind
I,
of hope it's a little bit further in the card and they do open with Tony Athena. I think that
Mhm.
would be even better. But if you're opening with this match, again, I have no problem with that.
I think I wouldn't be surprised if they open with either one. Either one would be a good opening match, and it would be really cool to see.
Tony Khan, hire Steve Zapp. He knows
Yes.
and bring us all along with him.
There you go. He's got the pen ready to
He's got
sign
pen
the
ready to
contract.
sign.
I'm all set. I have no problem with helping you out, buddy. Um,
Yeah.
so the next match I have listed here is going to be Kazuchika Okada, the unified champion with his 3 belts, because apparently they're not really unified. versus Swerve Strickland. I think this is, unfortunately, I think they've telegraphed this match a little bit too much. I don't believe that Okada loses this match. I also don't, and I've also heard that Swerve is one of the other guys who might be a little injured right now and might need to take some time away. So unfortunately, them not protecting that information is also hurting them, not hurting the I guess the kayfabe of this match, or the secrecy of this match, how it would go. But since I started with Mozart this last time, I'll go with you, Slim. What are you thinking for this match? Because I have been pretty harsh on Okada lately, and even his match at All Out, or I'm sorry, All In,
I
I
thought he delivered. I thought it was a really good
I
match.
thought it was good enough, but I don't think that we didn't get Tokyo Dome Okada, and that's what I wanted.
I feel like, though, part of me is like, would we have ever really truly gotten that? Because they're all both are a couple years older, a little older now. And also, would the American audience be able to, even in AEW, which is a little more hardcore, would that style have worked for an American audience? That would be my argument to that. But that's a discussion we can have another day. As far as this match, Swerve is fantastic. I still feel like he doesn't get the respect he deserves. I don't get it. I really don't get that this man doesn't get the respect he deserves as a wrestler. He's a really uber talented wrestler. And Okada can go. Okada is still very good. Maybe Okada's lost a step or half a step compared to the Tokyo Dome Okada. But that's okay. That doesn't mean you're a bad wrestler. I mean, Mozart can tell you with experience, yeah, maybe you lose a little of the athletic aspect, but you get a better understanding of how to work a crowd, how to
Mozart,
those
that was Slim's
notes.
really nice way of calling both of us old.
I know.
No.
Like
Well, you
how I
have
how I
to.
called
Mozart.
Howard old a couple weeks ago. That was how
Exactly.
Slim
Yeah.
did it. He slid
I
it
mean,
under the radar there.
I try to slide
I
every.
at least was trying to be respectful of my elders here,
He just,
Yeah,
As I say
we're
that,
fucking
as
old,
Steve
man.
is
It's
literally like
okay.
2
I
years
get
older.
it.
The funny thing with Mozart is Steve is literally like a year and a half, 2 years older than me, and I'm calling him my elder.
yeah. I'm creeping up on Howard, so he's not much older than me. So
But,
yeah, you will see if they're smart and they want to career longevity, you will see changes in every almost everybody's style. And there has to be. It's twofold. I think it's an evolution of giving the people something different, but it's also protecting your body because the high impact maneuvers, your body is not really built for that kind of stuff. Like we adapt to it, we work around it, we train per se. Like I've heard different terminology. Your body's calloused. Like it. Which way, obviously, I'm not going to have calluses all over my back. But you get used to working in the ring. But he's going to have to slow it down at times. And there's also the aspect of sometimes the American audience doesn't necessarily want to see what the Japanese audience likes to see. To your point, so I don't think they move titles. In this case, although I probably like Swerve better as a worker, he tends to lend to what I prefer more.
and I think with Swerve, I think he really tends to step up to the moment. If that makes sense. Like I really feel like
I
he
agree with
goes
that.
up to the moment.
For sure, yeah.
And that doesn't, like I
So
said, I'm not disrespecting Okada. Okada is a
Yeah.
very, very talented, good wrestler.
I mean, he's Japanese Cena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He kind of is. He's at that point.
Mhm.
My thing with Swerve, and I don't want to say this disrespectfully, because I love Swerve. I think Swerve is over. I think he's actually Teflon in AEW right now.
Mhm.
Swerve can lose and still be hot tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's that over.
Yeah.
I think the thing with Swerve, and I've heard other people say this, and I actually agree with this, is that Swerve needs to stop doing so much of a performance on his promos. If you ever listen to his normal interviews as opposed to his promos,
Mhm.
his normal interviews are actually more interesting to me because like when he talks, he gets it's like the Shawn Michaels voice. Like you know how Shawn Michaels was like, and like would get like he like especially later, he would really sell that he's Shawn Michaels and all that.
Mhm.
To me, though,
Swerve
it
is
kind of feels a little WWE-ish with his promos. I will say that.
yes.
And I feel
And
like I
I would
I
almost
agree with you. I
like
want him to
Swerve.
break from that. I want it to just be Swerve, not
Yeah, like
WWE in his ear influence.
if Shane Strickland just came out and was just like, "What's up, y'all? This is me." I
I
think
agree.
I would actually prefer his promos, and I think
And
it
his
would take
promos are
him.
solid. I don't think they're bad by any
I
stretch,
don't
but
think they're
I
bad,
do agree with you that it feels
but
a little.
the difference between and Mozart, you can agree with me on this one. The difference between good and great is miles sometimes, and a
Mhm.
mile could just be an inch, and that inch could be changing the tone of his voice.
Yeah.
It's
It,
amazing how you can travel like that. I know what I
it,
said.
if it
I had to
feels
think about that for a second
forced,
because you blew my mind for a second there.
yeah, if it feels forced and you're pushing it, like I was always taught that the just be an extension of yourself. You know what I mean? Like to you know I don't know. I still think that the king of promos is Jake the Snake Roberts. I never saw somebody whisper and scare the shit out of somebody so much. You know?
I sent you that promo the other day of him talking about the scorpion or the snake and the rabbit
Oh my
with the
god.
Ultimate Warrior.
See,
Yeah, there's.
for me, I was a Macho Man Randy Savage promo guy.
I loved him too. Two
And
completely different styles.
you know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to throw
Hmm.
a third one out there, and the Ultimate Warrior.
Hmm.
And here's why. Now, here you have to remember,
He's crazy.
I was
He's
maybe
crazy.
very like no older than like 4 or 5. So
Hmm.
to me, it sound even like now when I'm older, I'm like, what the hell is he saying? But at the time, it sounded so deep and incredible, and you're like, oh my god, that's a very WWE style of promo,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So
which I
Warrior,
don't necessarily, even though it's good when I was younger, now it's like, huh? But I
I
don't want Swerve in that mold. I'd
oh
rather him
Yeah.
a mix of a Jake,
He doesn't need
a
to be
Randy
no.
Savage.
I liken Warrior a lot to like Snuka. Like you could
Hmm.
never understand what either one of them was saying, but if they just hit their line at the end, like if you had the Warrior snarl or
Hmm.
you had Snuka be like "Brada," you were like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in, do it, beat Don Morocco."
Exactly. Yeah. Uh huh.
So, like I said, send your hate mail to Howard Morgan, but I'm going to say this because I have a feeling the hate mail's coming.
Ha!
Swerve, to me, I feel like has the potential on the mic, if he truly is like himself, of a Roddy Piper.
I
There,
can
I
see that.
said it. I said it. Send your hate mail to Howard Morgan.
All
Poor
right,
Howard.
let's go on to this tag team title match next, guys. We have the Hurt Syndicate defending the titles against FTR and Bandito and Brody King, the christened Brodito.
I love that name.
The
I really
shocker
do.
that I have is that no one has brought up their name and been like, okay, Bro Chacho, let's just do this. Because it's the first thing that I think every time is I'd be like, man, I would call you guys Bro Chacho. Absolutely. Um, so my thoughts on this one,
Ooh.
I'll start this one off a little bit. My thoughts on this one was originally I would not be putting the title on Bandito and Brody King. I agreed with you on this one, Slim, originally. I am now starting to think that they are going to put the title on Bandito and Brody King. And I'm going to get your guys' opinions on this match, and then I'm going to give you my theory as to how this is going to play about. This way, you can tell me I'm crazy, but it sounds very AEW, or I'm just booking like a wrestler booker might. So, Mozart, I'm going to get your idea on this one first, since this is the match that you are super excited for because it's the tag team title match.
I looked at it in two ways. I'll tell you first of all, I didn't see FTR winning because I hear too much whispers in the background that they might be on their way out, which I don't doubt at all. Back to WWE, maybe not, but I don't see them winning either way. I leaned more toward the Hurt Syndicate keeping them, but there's been a lot of I think that the Bandito and Brody King have kind of caught on. So there could be that kind of like, hey, let's ride this wave type of deal. So I wouldn't be shocked, but I don't see FTR taking the championships. I see a real strong showing. I see them as the workhorses of the match. But I could be wrong on that one. But I'm kind of feeling that they're kind of winding up a little bit down there.
I'm glad
Alright.
you admitted that you could be wrong on that one, Howard. You know, and Mozart and all, because you
Yeah,
definitely.
I mean,
He
I'm
almost
never
called you by
wrong.
the wrong name. He saw the
I'm
gray
never
hair, the
wrong.
gray
I'm
in the
just not
beard, and
always
he almost
correct.
called you the wrong name.
Well, no, I was getting ready to
That's
also say, make sure
ageism.
you send all the hate mail to
We
Howard.
don't all look
Howard
alike.
Morgan for the hate mail.
Yeah, man. What's up with that? I know
think-
that I don't have a
Well,
tan
I
or
heard
anything, but you know,
I heard FTR's contracts aren't up for a couple years.
I'm not
yeah,
sure.
there's
I
a lot
mean,
of
I heard that they were until like into 2027.
yeah. I don't know anything about any of that. I've just seen a lot of reporting about WWE doing some copyrights, and I don't know. I kind of
oh,
feel
I,
like they
I
have
think they
run
what I
that.
heard,
copywrote Scott
From what I
Dawson.
heard,
Yeah,
from what I heard, they are not fans of the company.
yeah.
Without Vince there.
Well, everybody's not a fan until the money comes out. You have to remember that
Here's
too,
the thing, I don't know
because
if they get offered that much.
there's
Honestly, I
so
think
many
Tony
people that
will
weren't going to
offer more.
go back and would never go back, and I could never be there. I couldn't work under this
I
person,
will
and
say
they're all there.
this: if it's a smart strategy because Tony will back the bring truck up,
Hmm.
and you want to get more money out of Tony Khan. That's a smart way to do it.
It's smart for the wrestlers, but I really this is what happens when somebody with a lot of money, because it's just not good business though.
Well, I mean,
If you're making money, if your promotion is turning a profit, then honestly,
They're not though. That's
but
the
they're
problem.
not.
I
no,
need
they
them
aren't.
to.
No, they aren't.
They
They have
they
not turned a profit yet. They've barely made back the money that they originally invested.
That's the problem. Is they got all these
by
guys
the end of
dropping.
this year with the TV, or I'm sorry, no, end of next year with the TV deal, because next year is when they'll start to see the returns.
But we haven't taken into account new contracts and everything like that. They're not turning the profit yet.
But can we also let's establish here? We're talking about a multi-billionaire who literally this is nothing. This is a drop in the
We're
bucket
talking.
for him
I,
too. Keep that.
I
in
don't want to bash him because he might be my boss someday.
mind.
Again,
Exactly.
I got the contract, but he's the son of a multi-billionaire.
No, he actually himself is multi-billionaire too.
But that's
He
Steve's going to sign that
he actually
contract.
created a analytics company that he sold to the NFL.
That is doing terrible. His
He
analytics,
sold it to-
everything that he does,
Oh wow.
everything that he touches does not do well. I.e., the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That's well,
Poor
that's
Steve, poor
Jaguars.
Jacksonville.
That's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother day. Poor Steve. Poor Steve only gets the local stuff. If he has,
I'm going to say it this way: Tony runs his contracts for AEW very similar to the way they run the contracts for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's where I'm at with this.
Yeah.
But back to this match, because I am actually excited for this match. I think this is
Oh,
going
yeah.
to be a
It's a
very
phenomenal
good match.
match. I think FTR wins. I think it'll be FTR who's going to win with the help of shenanigans from.
So that was my original,
or not Cope of Stokely.
So that was my original pick. I actually said not just with help of Stokely. That was my original pick was FTR for this match until it became a three-way.
I still think it's going to be FTR but I think the pin is ultimately going to happen on either Bandito or
Brody
to protect the Hurt
Hurts.
Syndicate. But the reason I do think the titles are coming off the Hurt Syndicate is because I think Lashley is going into the world title picture.
See, I think so as well. Here's the thing is, I'm very excited for this match because when you put the Hurt Syndicate and FTR in there, this is how we like to say the adults are in the room. The adults are absolutely in the room.
I agree with that.
Mhm.
And MVP, you put MVP in there, and all of a sudden the adults are
talk about a phenomenal wrestling mind. Oh my God, his wrestling mind is incredible.
MVP's got it. So allow me to bring you on my
your journey,
my yellow brick road on how
nice
Brodito are going to win this match.
Brodito, I love it.
So Hurt Syndicate are going to get screwed over in this match, not by MVP, but by MJF. MJF is going to cost the Hurt Syndicate the tag team titles. Hold on, there's more shenanigans.
That, yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's always more. But wait, there's more.
But wait.
FTR is not going to win this match because Cage and Copeland are going to cost them the match as well.
Here's my issue with that. If that happens, then this match has to go on after, and FTR or Stokely has to cost Copeland
Which
and
I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. That's my only thing with this is I was actually going to move this match placement around a little bit. But also, again, like Slim just said, what did I say originally? There's going to be a lot of shenanigans in this show. I said that there was going to be like a quadruple screw job over three
how
or four
about this?
different matches.
Let me throw this out there for you, Steve and Mozart. Let me throw this out for you with the MJF angle. What if we find out it was all play all along, and MJF comes in and helps them win, and we find out that they did that as a ploy
See-
all along, and then they come in later and help MJF win.
See, I'd like that, but I don't think that's the. I think if we're getting it any way, shape, or form, it's going to be MVP helping MJF at some point. And I don't think we're getting that here. And I think the other two side factors in this are going to help Bandito and Brody King win the tag team titles. And unfortunately, I think this is the only way to kind of get the stranglehold that the Hurt Syndicate have the tag titles on, get it off of them, because it's real hard for many teams in that division to stand up to the Hurt Syndicate. I don't mind the idea of FTR winning the tag team titles, because I think that means that Copeland and Cage are going to eventually win the tag team titles and make them, and because they're that legendary tag team that we need to see this. This is still going to be moving Bobby Lashley into a world title picture, FTR into a feud with Adam Copeland and Christian Cage, and Bandito and Brody King can move off and do
Shelton to maybe one of the mid titles for Shelton.
Have Shelton go after Kyle Fletcher.
How about Okada and Shelton?
Maybe. I think, but I at least want the illusion that Shelton's going to win the title.
I think he could if they. I'm not saying immediately, but I could see them.
I don't think they're taking the title off of Okada, because they're going to have to split the title eventually, and I think this is their way of constantly telling us that Okada is the greatest tournament wrestler of all time, and I'm not disagreeing with that moniker, but Americans don't care about tournament wrestling.
Yeah, a lot less. Unless it has some.
We don't care. We don't follow pro wrestling in the newspaper like Japanese people do. And it's not a bash. That's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
No, I will say that being said, I personally I think the Super 8 tournament in ECWA is one of the most fantastic. I don't mind tournaments at all. I actually enjoy tournaments. Now I'm the weird American wrestling fan who does.
Well, it's not even that. All of us love a tournament. Tony loves a tournament so much that he does 17 of them a year. He does too many tournaments. He has both Owens. He just came out of a tag team tournament. He's going to do the Continental Classic
as a way to justify how do you get to your number one contender.
Yeah, but he's going to do the Continental Classic as well. He's still doing the Continental Classic. He does.
That's four tournaments,
and then but he'll do other eliminator tournaments in there. He'll mix in minis. It just needs to be cleaned up a little bit. And I think that unified title in general, the terminology behind it needs to be cleaned up a little bit too, because it's not unified. All three titles still exist.
I guess for me too, the other thing that when I hear a unified title, that almost makes me think a world title or something of that.
That's the other thing. It's a mid-card title. All right, guys. So that was my rabbit hole for the tag team titles.
I like it.
Let's move on to the TBS title.
Well, I'm actually the tag match with Cage and Christian and them. If you want to do that one first, happen. Let's do that first, because if shenanigans are going to happen, like I said, I think that match has to be on before the tag title match.
So let's talk about Adam Copeland and Christian Cage versus Kip Sabian and Killswitch. No, I will not call him by the name he wants. He will either be Adam Copeland, he will be Edge, or he will be Adam Edgeland.
No Cope, huh?
Stupid.
It is weird. It is weird.
I'm very excited about this. I hope Christian Cage comes out in his old gear also. That is one of the things I am hoping. I hope he comes out in even the stuff that he was wearing in TNA with the hood and everything, I would love it if he is like, I finally found myself, and he comes out as what he was in TNA and calls himself the Instant Classic. I would love it. Does the double C move, everything about it. I would love it.
Completely disagree with you on that one.
You think
I
he's gonna? You want
I
him to stay
like
an
that
asshole?
I like this aspect. In fact, I was worried about this match. I thought it was too rushed. I was like, "Oh my gosh, they're rushing into it. Come on, Tony." And then that promo from Dynamite made me go, "Oh, okay. There's growth to happen within this. It's not just gonna be like, oh, kumbaya, I'll hug it out, Honestly, like
So
they
Slim,
left open the possibility. They left open the door of him turning on him, and that I like because now it's
So
a
what if they end up growing it into he comes out at least in gear? I hate the turtleneck at this point. Like at least in
I
some
would
type of gear.
eventually on the gear. I want the turtleneck for now. I
And
want the
then when
turtleneck
they
for just
eventually work with FTR
that's when I want him
and you
to
get
finally
full
really
full
find
blown
himself.
Christian Cage.
Yes.
All right, I can go along with that. I will admit that that is a better idea. Mozart, what are you thinking for this?
Plus
Because you're
that promo itself was just absolutely
it
fantastic.
was very, very good. I
I
will
love
give him that. I mean,
Copeland with his, sometimes you just need a good asshole. And, and the look on his face, he's like, yeah,
yeah, I
he
said
looked at
it.
the camera, he's like, yeah, I said that.
All right, so Mozart, I'm gonna get your opinion on this one because again, you are our tag team guy, and Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. It's not even arguable that they're one of the best tag teams ever. It's arguable that they might be the best. I'm sure there's someone out there who they are their favorite tag team ever. They're not mine necessarily. I love them. They're just not my favorite tag team of all time. I believe that that is held by the British Bulldogs still for me.
Oh man, yeah, no
But
doubt.
I mean there's so many good tag teams out there, and
The New
they
Age
are
Outlaws
in
start
that list. They are in that short
the old New
if
Age
you were to tell
Outlaws.
me they were in the top 5 or top 10 greatest tag teams of all time, I would never argue that. It's hard to argue otherwise. But Mozart, what are you thinking of this match?
Well, I think that you make a point. They're probably from the last generation of a really good tag division because they were innovating with the Hardy Boys, the Dudley Boys. I mean, and think about almost any team that they put together at that point. Not that APA was thrown together, but there was so many tag teams that you could just take individual stars and make as wrestlers of that era, and you or make as a tag team of that era, and you had a really good tag division, and they were kind of innovating and on top of that at the time. I, I I had some interactions with Christian, so I'm partial. I like the guy. I think he's really great. I think he's really underrated in the ring.
Hold on. You can't start
Um,
a story with, or you can't start a statement with, I had some interactions with him, but now I'm going to move on to something different without
oh,
telling
he
me
was
about
the
it. Come on.
ECWA champion
I was going to say he used to be
for a
with
couple of
ECWA for a
months,
really long
and I
time, right?
believe, if I'm not mistaken, he was either with us at the same time he was the WWF light heavyweight champion,
Yeah.
or just after. I because it was a rare situation where WWF was letting him wrestle for Jim at the time for Kettner, which Jim always had that really great rapport with the office. But so Christian was he was young, he was innovative, he was cutting edge. I thought at the time, and probably overall, he's probably better technical wrestler than Edge. I don't think probably he is, but Edge had the look, he had the
He had some
intensity,
size to him too. He had a little bit more
he
size.
had
He's a
the
little taller.
size. Yeah, I like them a lot as a tag team. I want to see them get this run in. They both of the guys look worse for wear to me. Like their bodies look beat up. They don't look like they're progressing through wrestling like some of the guys who are contemporaries in the same age.
I
Um,
agree with that.
so I think they're getting a little bit beat up. So I'd like to see them really. I'm not too familiar with with the guys they're working with because I'm
So
Sabian
Kip
and
Sabian's been kind
Luchasaurus.
of an underneath guy
yeah,
almost
Kip
the
Sabian.
whole time.
I've
Kip
seen.
Sabian, I think is a guy who's very talented. I've been waiting for a long time to see him get a shot.
He'll probably get
Go
a good if
how
he's
talented.
working with those two guys. I think that there's a reason they're probably trying to
I
elevate him.
want to, wasn't he? I'm pretty sure Kip
Yeah.
Sabian was in the Philadelphia area for a while,
Mhm.
wasn't he?
Yeah, Kip was around a little bit.
And
Yeah, I
then,
didn't
I
didn't
don't know
know
about
him, but
ECWA, but I'm pretty sure he
No.
did stuff in the Philly area.
Yeah.
And then Kill Switch is the former Luchasaurus.
okay. Yeah, I'm not
So
familiar
and
with. Yeah.
I'm excited for this one. Luchasaurus has been, or Kill Switch, whatever you want to call him, has been on the
Mhm.
sidelines. He had was it a stroke or a seizure?
Oh my
Slim? I
God.
It was
forget what it
pretty.
was.
It was pretty bad. It was
Well,
pretty
good
severe.
for him to be back. Yeah.
He had a serious like
Medical issue. yeah.
life-threatening like medical illness type situation. So he's been on the sideline about a year now,
Pretty close.
Oh, wow.
just
Yeah,
over a
probably
year,
pretty close to it.
because I think it happened right after last year's All In.
Which I
Okay.
think was in August. So yeah, about a
Yeah.
year.
Wow.
And so he's been on the sidelines with this, and I'm excited to see him back. He's one of those guys that has some has a lot of potential, and again has that thing that we can't teach. He has size, he has a look.
Yeah.
So this could be an interesting match, and he's the guy that. So I'm actually more excited for this match now with
Mhm.
him in it than when it was with Nick Wayne.
Okay.
Not because I don't think that Nick Wayne is talented. I think that this match visually looks better at this point. So I
Yeah.
think that's going to be real
Yeah.
exciting.
I
I
also
do.
kind of got the feeling too. I think Nick Wayne is the future for sure. I don't think he's there yet. If that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense to you both at all when I say that.
Mhm.
Like I just feel like
Yeah.
like not overexposing him too early
Sure.
will allow you to properly build him to the level because that kid's got superstar ability. I mean, like
Mhm.
he has potential, like superstar
Yeah.
ability. You know,
I do. I've seen him. We've
almost
gone
like
through the
a young
roster.
Shawn Michaels.
I've seen a couple of his matches, but I think I agree with Steve that visually it looks better with
Oh,
Kill
definitely.
Switch
Definitely.
because you're selling this hopefully to some kids. You want these people to be able to buy into it, and um, you, I think that the match is more about establishing Christian and Edge as this team again. Whether I don't know that I mean, I'm not following it too closely, but I don't know that I need to see another turn between these two guys. I think it's time to just stay together, finish out your run. And I got to be honest, guys, everybody knows this, and I'm not wrong about this. Everybody ends up back in WWE. If they left there at once and that's where they made their career, that's where they'll be. Whether it's one match or a Hall of Fame or whatever it is, they'll end up back there. It's
Hall of
fine.
Fame.
It's
For
the
Edge is
business.
technically already in the Hall of Fame.
Edge is already in, exactly.
And he's already said like the end of this contract might be the end of his the end of his wrestling
Yeah.
career.
I
He's
mean,
come off some really bad injuries.
you
in the
know,
last
and you
couple
have to.
years.
I
I
always
think this is
question.
Christian's run to get his Hall of Fame ring.
Yes, and I think that when you started talking about guys coming off of injuries and they got cleared, I mean, I got to be honest. How hard is it to really get cleared if you go to the right guy or you keep going 150 million times? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, and I don't know because I don't know him. I'm not a doctor. I just know I've known guys that are like, "Oh, I'm clear." You're not. You shouldn't be in a ring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or I mean, if you're on the indies, realistically, you say you're clear, and everyone just accepts it a lot of
Well,
times.
they don't. Yeah, because nobody on the indies
I'm
is
that
going to
guy.
ask now. Yeah, so firsthand. Like you don't have to. Yeah, um, there's no real rule. It's dependent on the promoter. I mean, I
Yeah.
do
I would
know. I can
definitely
speak for.
I would definitely be like, I need to see the medical clearance.
Yeah. Well, I know there
But
were
again,
times
I also
where.
understand because I've also been in, just like you two, I've also been in it. So I know
Yeah,
that
you can.
sometimes you have to
We all
save
lie.
entertainment.
Yeah,
You have to save the
exactly.
talent from themselves.
At the end
Well,
of the day, we're all shysters.
I
Of
think that
some
there's
sort.
too many times you see guys get back in the ring and everybody has probably come back from some type of an injury. But when you start talking about neck injuries and spinal injuries, I think Edge looked great. But the problem when he came back, but I think we've yet to see the long term effects of that. You know, um,
I mean, is it safe
you
to
know,
say as long as it's not affecting their ability to live their life, to go.
Well,
with
yeah, but the
trying to
thing
hang it up.
is guys won't tell you if it is because they want to be in the ring that bad.
I
I
see what
mean,
you're saying.
I don't know this, but he could be leaving in a wheelchair every night. I mean, I'm sure that would leak out, but you know what I mean. Like there could be things that he can't do that he just won't tell anybody. That I don't think that's the case, but it very well could be. There's been guys that step back in the ring. So I'd like to see him stay safe. Don't do crazy stuff. There's no need to prove that you can do these unbelievable stunts anymore. Like just do what you do, man. Your edge. Like you've made
And you're right. That's the funny thing. He doesn't have to do any of those kind of.
no. And it doesn't mean that you don't go out and give the fans a performance because there's a difference between not performing for the crowd and, I don't know, for the lack of a better term, being lazy and doing what your body can do and using your body to tell the story that needs to be told in a safe manner, you know? And I think he's talented enough to do it. I just hope that's what he does, you know?
I think as long as I'm hoping when he fractured his leg doing that crazy off the steel
The
cage thing.
dive off the cage that
I'm hoping that he realizes I don't need to do that. The fans are 100,000% behind him without him doing that.
Yeah,
I'm
that's the thing. You're
hoping-
absolutely right.
And I'm hoping that that's the kind of thing where he goes, all right, the crowd is with me, the fans are with
Yeah.
me. Let's go ahead and put together what'll be a really good match.
I
Mhm.
think so, yeah.
Luchasaurus
So
and Sip Kabian, Kip Sabian, Sip
Yeah.
Kabian.
Sip Kabian,
Yeah.
Those two
even
guys
better.
are super talented. Make no mistake about it, they really are. And they will to get to work a Christian
Mhm.
and an Edge. Oh my gosh. And I apologize, I said Edge, but Adam Copeland.
That's who he
whatever.
Should be a
is.
good good match, yeah.
My point is that you could put on a great match without the need for anything that puts anybody's safety at risk. It'll tell a great story, and I think it will. Honestly, I think it's going to tell a phenomenal story.
I
And
think so.
especially if you're going to do the shenanigans that Steve was saying, where you're going to have
I
an
wouldn't be
interference of
surprised
some
if by
kind.
some chance Killswitch and Sabian win this, or this goes to a no contest because of
The shenanigans.
FTR getting involved.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be surprised with
I don't
either
think it's
one
going to
of
be
those.
FTR directly.
I think so.
Personally, I think it's going to be Stokely.
I think it's
I
going to be
think
all. Of
that's
them.
more likely to
I think it's going to be FTR at this point. I think I think they're going to get involved. Or I also wouldn't be surprised if we do see Nick Wayne come out and realize like his ankle's not hurt anymore, something along those lines.
Or Mother Wayne.
But boys, let's move on from this one. Mainly because we're making perfect time for that when Howard does get on here. It'll be just in time for this cage match that he's going to love to talk about.
Hey, he is bringing the groceries in. Come on now.
Yeah,
Is he?
Exactly. I'm timing
got
this.
tabs on Howard.
I
That's
can't
great.
wait. I can't wait to have Howard talk about Darby and Moxley. I'm
Oh
waiting.
boy. Yeah.
It's gonna be amazing. All right, so the next one that we were going to talk about is going to be Mercedes Moné defending her TBS title in a 4-way match against Alex Windsor, who is from AEW. She is also the significant other of Will Ospreay. Persephone, who is a standout in CMLL, and Bozilla from Stardom. I have never seen Bozilla. I've seen Persephone a little bit, and Alex Windsor has been getting featured quite a bit more on AEW television. My worry for this match, and I think it's going to be good. I think there's still going to be a good match. I have a worry for this match because 3-way matches, 4-way matches, they just invite what we like to refer to on this show as Jamokin.
You're not wrong though.
Mozart. So Slim does know the term Jamokin. We have used it around him. Mozart, for you are uninitiated on this one.
I'm not. Yeah, you got to
You are not
initiate
of
me.
the Jamokin cloth. So Jamokin is when you are hit with a very simple move, and then you spend the next several minutes on the outside of the ring, so that 2 other people can now wrestle a singles match inside the ring. While there are 4 people involved in this match, I am willing to bet that there will be several different combinations of one-on-one matches going on during
It's
this
a lot of
match.
Jamoke. I love that.
Mozart just had his Jamokin popped. He should be.
So
He should be very,
Jamokin, to
Does
be a
that feel
Jamoke is a
satisfying,
noun.
Mozart? Does that feel
Yeah, that's
satisfying?
great. I like
Yeah.
the explanation. Never heard the
Again,
term, but
to
I'll
be a
run with it.
Jamoke is a noun. Jamoke is someone who sits on the outside of the ring while you are after getting hit with a simple move and spends several minutes there instead of being involved in the match.
Okay.
Jamokin, verb, the act of being a Jamoke. I also know,
Wow.
Slim, you are a teacher technically. I understand you should not use the word in the definition,
I'm a history
but
teacher, so I don't know that stuff. We
exactly.
don't do that in history. We
But
just
it's a made up word. Wait, as Thor said, aren't all words made up?
All words are made up.
Yeah.
Or like George Carlin, please use your own words. Well, no words are your own words. If
Exactly.
they ask for that, be like flig flarg flug flug.
Yeah, I'm all made. Yeah.
technically, you can make up a word. Plenty of people do.
Right there. We did it, Jamokin.
Now here's
I
hold on.
don't think
I'm
we
going to
made
say
it up.
this.
I'm
I
pretty
will say
sure
this,
that the
Steve.
mafia made it up, but still.
I am going to say this, and I think you two can kind of get your perspectives on it. I think there's a difference in my mind versus I got hit with a simple move. Now I'm hurt on the outside
hmm
versus I'm waiting for my opening. I'm waiting to let them beat each other up. Then I'm going to jump in and go for my opening. I think that's where it's such a fine line because it's in the world of wrestling, how does your brain interpret
And
what's going on?
I just want to point out this is not just something that we point towards at AEW. We
No, all the companies do it.
WWE gets just as much flack for Jamokin as anywhere else. When you give me a 6-team ladder match at SummerSlam, the Jamokin galore.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
actually didn't grab the tag team titles at the end of the match. They grabbed the Jamokin titles at the end.
Right. Exactly.
I think this is going to be exciting. I don't think that we need Mercedes Moné to have 9 titles, but also at this point, I don't know what else to do with her. So,
Here's the only thing I would say about that and I'm going to speak solely from a fan because as a worker, I got it. Somebody, I don't look at her work and think she's the ultimate dragon. We don't need her having 9 titles. Nowhere, any way, any shape,
see, and
any
that's where
form.
I'm at.
Just like I don't think there needs to be half the titles there are in wrestling because honestly, we're even just going through this. I'm probably at like almost 20 belts, including these. Why do we need that many titles? And there's nothing that anybody can say to me that makes that okay because it does nothing except diminish the titles. 3/4 of your roster can wear a belt. Negative. It's not important at that point. It's
Oh my gosh,
nothing
how
important.
many times we had this conversation and all? I think we're all in agreement with that. Just
Yeah, so
way
9 titles, but no offense to her, I don't know her. She's very close to somebody a lot of people that I do know. I don't look at her work, never have, on the par of Eddie Guerrero, Ultimo Dragon, guys that have worn multiple titles,
I'll
it's
say it
just
this
not
way,
there.
maybe
And it's not going to get there, in my opinion. So when you look at a guy like that, and I'll jump to even like Cena. Cena didn't need 17 titles. We don't have to break Flair's record just to say we broke it, which by the way, they didn't because it's well over 20, like legitimately. But the
not to
number that
mention,
everybody goes
what is
with
it?
is
Jerry
16.
Lawler had didn't Jerry Lawler have 30 or
I
something?
think Jerry Lawler is probably in
300 titles over
300 titles into he's probably the king of real championship runs. But
Even.
some of those
Jerry
titles
the
too
King
were
Lawler
like
has held, and so
yeah.
Lawler got to the point where they talk about it all the time when he was the
Mhm.
USWA championship was Memphis, right? Or whatever it turned into, but
There was some
when he was like
incarnations.
the Memphis Southern champion or whatever, they
Yeah.
stopped saying how many times he was the champion because he kept trading it back and forth with certain people,
Yeah.
and instead just started referring to it as, well, Jerry Lawler was the Southern champion the majority of 1977 or something like that.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
They
it was
stopped
dropping. Mhm.
counting the title reigns. They started counting they just started saying he's the guy that's identified as the champion.
Poor Howard. Howard would absolutely. This would be like right up his wheelhouse.
Oh,
But he's
he'd be
got to put those
he'd be all
groceries
about
away,
this.
though. Put those groceries away. But
my
real
my
quick,
thing
before
with
you do anything, let me
Mercedes
just jump
and
in real fast, Steve. Before you, real
yeah,
fast. I'm just going to say this, and I'm sure it's not a popular opinion. I don't think anybody, including back in the day with Ultimo Dragon or others, should have had that many titles. Period,
I,
including Mercedes. I'm not, and that's not. I love Mercedes. I personally love her work. I think she is fantastic.
It was
And even
different
that, I
because it
don't think
was
anybody should have.
in the Japanese culture, that's really what was big. And certainly like
yeah,
and he was, remember too, he was crossing back and forth between Mexico. She's not doing that. She's a United States based wrestler. She had a couple of matches in New Japan, which I understand didn't go over too well.
Apparently, she has been wrestling in Mexico, though.
But
for the
I
CMLL
mean,
Right,
one, yeah.
one title, you know.
yeah, but I mean, but Dragon was training there. Remember, he trained people. It's very, very different. It was a different era. It was the era of there wasn't 700 titles in wrestling. So for him to have 9, and it was 9 at one point, because I remember having the poster and like being enamored with it.
Well,
It
he had
was
because the WCW
I
title
was going to
was
say
the
he had the
9.
WCW, and then you go back to these, and this is
And like I said, I still don't think anybody should have that many.
yeah,
Just
I
if
loved
you're
it
going
for
from a
him
kayfabe
because
perspective, and you have to defend the
it
title
was the
every
first
30
time
days, like
that somebody had done it that I can remember in our
Yeah.
era. And
Well,
it was also a kind of a throwback to the originators of this whole entire genre. There'd be nobody on this card if there wasn't Dynamite Kid versus Tiger Mask, period.
exactly. Oh, I
So
completely
they
agree.
started it, they did
and
it, they innovated it. But Tiger Mask was a dual champion in IWGP and WWF, but the states wouldn't admit that
Yeah.
until he came to Madison Square Garden. Then all of a sudden he was the WWF. But
He was
to my
that
point
was the
is
first time there was a WWF light heavyweight champion.
there was
or
the
something
first
like that.
time, yeah, that they actually admitted there was one, although they had sanctioned one apparently,
Yeah.
which in wrestling, what does that really mean? But and that's what I don't like. That's what Steve and I always sit down to do. We could revolutionize the business by saying, let's have some continuity. Let's have a little bit of continuity with stuff.
So the other thing with Ultimo too, which is different than what they're doing with Mercedes, Ultimo was involved in a tournament
Yeah.
that was for all those titles. All
But
those
sure, I
titles
get
were
that aspect, but that doesn't. But my thought process: if you're supposed to defend the title every 30 days, quote unquote, that's the golden rule, right? Isn't that the golden rule? It's
well,
supposed to
That
be
doesn't
defended
and
happen
every 30
that's
anymore.
the thing
days.
is Ultimo's thing was he was defending every one of those titles
Every
in
time.
almost every match.
Yeah, they weren't defended
Okay.
separately at
So
that point in
so
time.
that's
Yeah.
the difference with what Mercedes is doing right now. Mercedes is only defending the TBS title tomorrow.
But that's
She
my
will
point being was that in theory, if it's every 30 days, you
Mhm.
have to. So that means you're having 8, 9 matches. You know, in theory, they should be big, strong. You know, physical. You know, like the toll in kayfabe in my mind, it's like, man, that really takes a toll on your body.
it
And
should, yeah.
therefore, how are you going to retain the, you know, that's why I'm saying to me, I don't think anybody
I
should ever have that many titles because the sustainability just isn't there in a kayfabe mindset.
I just get
But
tired of carrying one to the ring because they can be heavy.
Yeah.
that's why
Well,
you have
Seriously.
your
and it's
that's why
funny
you have to have
because
a
we're
manager.
kind of like we're kind of like roundabout like agreeing with each other, even though it sounds like we're almost disagreeing with each other.
Hmm.
No,
But
we're all in agreement, but I think we're all coming from it in a different
a different
perspective.
way.
Yeah.
So my other thing with it is also, sake of argument, Mercedes retains the TBS title
Hmm.
in this match, or she has a singles match with Persephone for the TBS title and retains, and then runs it back with Persephone later for the CMLL title, and Persephone wins. Does that elevate one of the titles? Does that mean one of the titles is more important than the other? Because we had this conversation the other day about the WWE titles. And I said the WWE Undisputed title that Cody Rhodes now holds is more important than the World Heavyweight Championship. I don't think there was ever a question, but it was completely brought to view when CM Punk lost to Cena and then a month later won the World Heavyweight title. That means that's the number 2 title.
Hmm.
You lost the big title and won the number 2. That's what that means to me.
Well, that also to me, I hate the multiple world, heavyweight,
Yeah,
whatever you
there's
want
no
to
logic behind that.
say.
That
And
insulted
that's why I'm
every
hoping and
wrestling
praying
fan.
Tony Khan doesn't do that. For the love of God, I know,
Yeah.
I want to
I
see
mean,
cut
Ring
down
of
on the
Honor is
number of
considered a world
titles,
title.
but Ring of Honor that is a different, in theory, a different promotion. It's a little different. I'm okay with that. Like NXT having a world championship, that's fine. I have no problem with that. The
Well,
NXT World
I wouldn't
Women's
call
the NXT World
NXT a world
Championship.
championship. I
It's a
mean,
heavyweight title.
yeah,
You know what I'm
The
saying?
men's
Yeah,
title.
yeah.
whatever you want to.
And
It's
honestly,
heavyweight.
no offense, I wouldn't call Ring of Honor a world title either.
No, it's a heavyweight.
They don't even have a TV
Sure.
show at this point. But I think where Steve is
And the
coming
way
from.
WWE's going, they might never get one.
Yeah, very true. The interesting
WWE
thing
currently
about
has a
that
contract
is
with. I think they did a listing of every company that WWE has a contract with now.
oh yeah,
NBC, Disney, which covers ABC,
yep,
Discover. I'm sorry, A&E, all that stuff. That's
yeah,
the Disney
ESPN and all
contract.
that. Yep.
ESPN. They have a contract with CW. I think they have
yep.
stuff going on with they're in talks with Fox, who is under the Disney umbrella.
Hmm.
Well, that's no. Technically, they're not.
That's crazy.
They weren't.
So
Disney
and
was
Fox
not
is
able
the
to
only
acquire the
company
channels.
though
Only
that turned down.
the
Fox turned
movies
down
and all that
AEW
stuff.
though. Also,
Oh, did they?
I don't
Okay.
think they turned them down. From what I heard, talks were very much in the preliminary.
they're kind of they're painting AEW into a little bit of a corner right now
Mhm.
with the fact that for some reason the TV deal was to fall through with WB Discovery.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of places for AEW to go at this point.
Yeah, I think it's being done by design. That's the way WWEF does business. Remember going all the way back to Black Saturday, you just steal TV time and you can't have a competitor.
Well, and that
I mean,
and I think it's also I've said this. I want to clarify how I'm saying it. WWE is absolutely messing with AEW.
oh, no question.
But they're not doing it in the sense of, oh man, that's competition. No, they're doing it because it's the one wrestling company that they probably won't be able to own and control.
Right.
And they want to control the world. So what are they going to do? They're going to mess with them like they're the redheaded stepchild. And that's what they're doing. They're more messing with it like, you know what? We got time. Let's go do this.
And they do
I don't
have
think
time.
it's I don't think it's a
I
threat
necessarily agree with
situation.
that. I think they do look at it as competition. And here's where I think
No, they're not even close to competition.
I think Paul looks at it as competition.
Nah, he looks at it as he wants their tape library someday.
I get what you're saying, Slim. I think it's more of a situation of if we can't control you, we're gonna push you out. That's not competition. That's
what I see it as too.
Hey, we own AAA. Okay, we have our Mexican promotion. We don't care about CMLL. We'll put you have your connection with CMLL in New Japan. All we need is a Japanese promotion, and we're gonna start pushing you.
I don't think that's gonna happen, though. I really don't.
Money doesn't buy you business. That's where this is. Tony has money. I agree with you. A lot of people have money, and money doesn't buy you business, and business is not done on like there's plenty of billionaires that have companies that went bankrupt.
Sure. I mean, if you want to look at it from that perspective, though, but what's also the thing? Controversy creates entertainment. Competition creates entertainment and a draw for.
I think so.
So I think in a way, and here's what I'm going to say. I think this is where WWE is making a mistake. Actually, if they were smart, they should want some of these companies at AEW and things in existence because that creates that controversy will create more eyeballs ultimately on their product. Well,
I mean, they do. It just so happens that they're under the WWE umbrella.
I know. No, I know.
That's really where they're going. Is they're forming business relationships, even if they don't own them. We're connected to them. Like, okay, we're okay with TNA.
Shocked, honestly, if at some point that AEW and WWE did some type of cross promotional type thing down the line.
That would be interesting. I don't know if they would, although Tony said he's open to it. So who
I
knows?
think they will, because I think one day it'll be a benefit type of thing. They'll do something to raise as a fundraiser for a good cause,
I can
and
see
then
that.
maybe that'll create a working. Because I think that would be the kind of thing where it would make sense. Hey, we're gonna, let's do
either
this.
that
Put
or
a big show on because we want to help to,
Yeah.
help a great cause and raise money for a great cause. I think that's the kind of thing.
You know what the
that
great cause
or-
could be? The great cause will be because I need money to open a promotion so we can do wrestling right.
But I'm
Me-
saying
me-
I
me
could
and
see that
Mozart,
being.
we're
I could
booking.
see it being like, a cancer promotion, kind of like a
Yeah.
cancer charity, or whatever. A big thing happens, something big happens, and I hate to phrase it this way, but God forbid another 9/11 type of thing, like that kind of.
Something along those lines.
Yeah, I'm talking about something catastrophic.
I'm gonna get us back on track.
See, I'm trying to stall for Howard. I mean, I'm trying.
I know it.
Apparently
So
he's still putting the groceries
I
away.
think we're all kind of in agreement, though, that Mercedes walks out with the title on this one.
No, I think quite the opposite. I think she loses, and I think she does not. She's not involved, though. They're going to protect her by
So
not
who do
having
you
her
think takes
involved.
it then? Alex Windsor?
I think it's going to be Alex Windsor, or it's going to be what's her name from CMLL?
Persephone?
Persephone. I think it's going to be one of. And actually, here's where I think it would make a lot of sense, because Mercedes goes into their promotion and wins their a title. It would be kind of an intriguing thing with the foot, the shoe being on the other foot.
With her having to go back in with I could see that. I don't know. I don't think they're taking anything off of Mercedes. I think Mercedes and Okada are both the people right now that it would be odd if they weren't champions.
I think that would be smart, because then you can truly move Mercedes. I thought it was weird having her in the world title picture while
It's
still
very
the
weird.
TBS champion.
It was
This
very
is a way
weird.
to get the belt off of her and then allow her to eventually get back into that world title picture, when someone else is going to win and become the new champion, and it's going to allow you to kind of do it that way. That would make a lot more sense to me.
So, guys, I'm going to move us on to the next match, though. Let's talk about Kyle Fletcher defending the TNT title against Hiromu Takahashi. Again, not to be confused with Hiroshi Tanahashi. Hiromu is.
God knows I was confused.
I know you were, man. I know you were. So Hiromu, though, is also kind of like the new Hiroshi Tanahashi. He's the guy that's coming up the pipe.
Yeah.
He's the younger guy. Here's the thing: Kyle Fletcher is not losing this title.
I was getting ready to say I've seen Kyle Fletcher, and you sent me a nice highlight reel too.
Of that.
If you're moving it off of him, you're probably half insane. I would never.
Especially since he turned down. I guess his contract was coming up, or he was at the end of it not that long ago, and he turned down the offer from the other side of the street.
Yeah. It'll be a great match, because I think you'll have a really credible contender to elevate him, but I can't see them moving him.
No, I think Fletcher wins this, and I think he wins it by brainbuster.
Oh God, I hope so.
I think it's going to be a great match, but I'm in agreement. I think we're all in agreement. Fletcher keeps the title. I mean, it would make zero sense to have him lose it already.
He's
Slim,
my favorite guy.
Unless he's injured.
My favorite in the promotion. I mean, I think that he's that good. I think
he
that
is
he's very good.
He is
Again,
fantastic.
he's built the way he is. He looks the way he does. He's 6'4". He's 230 pounds.
Yeah.
Something like that. And like we said, Mozart, listen, I'm throwing high praise out there.
Yeah.
That brainbuster has got to be as good a one as I've ever seen.
Oh man,
I'm throwing his brainbuster in there with Eddie's. I'm throwing his in there with.
That's what it reminded me of, was like, that sharp Eddie Guerrero, snappy. Austin Aries had a beautiful brainbuster.
Yeah, so Austin Aries.
They were just,
And again, the difference
so smooth and like. It really looks devastating. Like you're like,
but the height of this dude,
and he's
like
6'4". You're coming from way up there with that brainbuster. That's
Eddie and Austin were more like my height.
The look that he has the look, right?
Oh yeah,
I'm not crazy for saying that.
Oh no, I think Fletcher is it. I think he definitely has.
I'll go so far as to say, and I don't want to offend anybody, but if they're crazy enough to put the belt on the guys they have so far, there's no reason this guy shouldn't carry that company. And then maybe they got a shot at doing something.
I
You
think
know,
Fletcher is going
I'm talking
to
about the
be.
main belt. I'm talking about get rid of all these hundreds of other titles that nobody cares about and put him in the main belt picture. You
I
know,
think that
at
they're
some
going to do
point,
that. I
maybe
really
he
do.
hasn't been pushed to that level yet, but he's
I
talented enough.
He's
I
getting
mean, what he's only
25, no
26.
older than
I think he's
26.
26,
Yeah.
maybe
Well, get him
27. Like if he's 27, he just turned 27.
get him into that picture now because guys who wrestle that style and are wrestling all around the world by 35 were starting to break down. The bodies are starting to break down. You start going into your late 30s, it's not as easy anymore. And then you get into your 40s, it's a whole different ball
I
game.
think
I
Fletcher's
know because I've
smart.
been there.
I think if they're smart,
We
Osprey.
are there.
We are there. I'm
Honestly,
way
when
past there.
Osprey finally wins the title, if they're smart, when Osprey finally wins the title, when they're
I
ready
love
to
Will
take it off of
Ospreay.
him,
Yeah.
when they're ready to take it off of him, Kyle Fletcher. That
Yeah.
is the
I think
smartest
that would be perfect.
transition.
That
I
would be
do
a really
too. I
good.
couldn't agree with that more because to me, those are the two guys that are the money. You know, like
Well,
Oh,
and
without
they're
a doubt. Will
and they're this.
Osprey is Will
Uh,
Osprey and Kyle Fletcher. I think that match alone for the world title would absolutely print.
I'd watch that before that match alone before I'd watch this whole card. That's how good I think that match is. I
And
hope
they've
I
that
already had a
agree.
happens.
couple were fantastic matches.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
Hmm.
just keep the screwdrivers away from them.
Yeah.
I think we're all in agreement though, as far as Fletcher's absolutely winning.
I hope he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
definitely.
think he does.
Fletcher is
Only
winning this
reason
match,
he would not win is if he's hurt. That's the only thing I could think of in my mind. Is
and
he's hurt.
I don't see it happening here. I think it's going to happen at their next show. Like if it's a minor injury, I think they hold off until the next show and get the title off of them there. All right, let's go in for the AEW Women's World Title. This is
Oh,
Timeless Tony Storm
sorry. I just had a bit of an orgasmic
versus
feeling right there.
Athena, which Mozart, I don't know if you're familiar with Athena, but she's the
Yep.
former Ember Moon from
Yeah.
NXT.
Yep.
She's actually cashing in her contract that she won at All Out. I'm sorry, All In. I keep
In.
mixing them. I keep mixing them up.
All Out
Sorry,
is
that's
next
my
month.
fault. That's me. We're live. Things are
Yeah.
happening. Like I said, live and in Technicolor. I need a tie-dye shirt like Superstar used to have.
Exactly.
I'm gonna start dyeing my beard like him.
Oh
Although
man,
I've already got it naturally.
you would be my hero, and then you have to be the Florida heavyweight champion of the world, baby.
Baby. Slim, this is going. I'm gonna say words that very rarely get said. Slim Burgundy, I agree with you. Tony
Oh my
Storm
God.
See, those are
Tony
words that should
Storm
always
is
be
the
said.
most
Woo.
complete person in pro wrestling.
Yes, it's not just
The
the
most
complete
complete.
female wrestler.
Not just female
Period,
wrestling.
regardless
No,
of
Tony Storm for me right now is doing character work that is on level with the Undertaker. I am giving
with the
her
ability to.
that type of praise.
Oh, I think with the ability in the ring of a Shawn Michaels, with the charisma of a Roddy Piper, like her promo ability, with
Yeah,
Roddy
she
Piper.
cuts a great promo. She
Incredible.
does great character work.
And she can go in the ring.
She
Sometimes
can
you
go in
only
the ring.
get two
And
of the three,
here's
but
why
she
I
has
say the
all
most
three.
complete is, do I think she is by far in the ring, nuts and bolts, the greatest wrestler?
No.
No. I think there are better technicians in the ring. I think Rhea is actually better in the ring than Tony is necessarily. But again, if we're talking complete, everything, every aspect that you look at, everything, from the look to the wrestling to the character to the promo, once she walks out the curtain, she is it. Mozart, I got you over here. I want to hear your opinion because me and Slim are so high on her.
Yeah, so I didn't really follow Tony Storm after she left WWE, but I liked her work. I think I agree with you. Like, she's solid. There are probably better technicians, but overall, I think that the whole project or the whole package is pretty solid. I don't see her losing. I mean, I like Athena. I think the work is good. I think she's got an amazing look. She's pretty, but I don't think that she's that character that's gonna. I hate to say character. She's not the persona that's
I
going to
think
I
this
move.
is
don't
too
agree with that,
soon.
honestly. I
You
don't
know,
agree. I think if anybody that I've seen so far is likely to beat, even more than Mercedes is likely to beat Tony, I think it's Athena. I really do.
I
well, I
think
think
Athena's a good
yeah,
choice.
yeah, I
I
think
think this is
politically
still a
it'll
little
never, ever, 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 ever happen. I guess I'm looking at
yeah.
it from a booking standpoint. Politically, she's not. They don't look at her like that. They
I
don't
don't know
see
though,
her
because
as
she's the
that person.
ROH Women's Champion,
Um,
so they obviously have some, and the
I,
way
I
they
think
built
that
her up in the
you
promos
want to
and
know
everything,
my
they did
opinion,
well.
and this is no disrespect because I remember I knew the guys that started ROH, and I knew many people. I knew probably 90% of their original roster. It's not the same promotion, and nobody cares about it now.
Yeah.
Nor neither does Tony Khan.
Can
Tony
I
bought
can
it.
I ask you guys this,
Yeah.
put this in this perspective,
He
and
bought it for
Mhm.
All
I'm going to
In.
be very careful of how I want to say this because it's
Yeah.
going to come across again. It's going to come across in a very mean
You're
kind of
so
nasty
mean,
way.
Slim. Don't bully me on live on air.
No, not
I'm
about
kidding.
you. Do you think honestly the fact that she is a woman of color in an era in a business that, let's be honest, most of your champions even today are still people who are white? Does that play into it? Does that?
I don't at all because then
No.
you'd have to say Mercedes wouldn't be where she is. You know,
But
there.
think about it. She's your
I
second
mean,
ever champion. Not that heavy.
Naomi's as hot as they come. I mean, I don't think it has anything to do with it at this point. Thank God because they're talented.
No,
Whoever it was,
I just
absolutely.
don't
I mean, it would
think.
be. Is it safe to say at one point that absolutely would have held true?
I think we're way past that though. At
yeah,
this point,
I
at
think
least
we're
in
way
my
way past
opinion.
that. I will say
But if you
this.
look at it with people, some of the people who are in those positions of power
Yeah.
or have been in those
No,
positions
I
of
just
power
don't
over
think they
the
look at
past,
her. I just don't
even
think they
5 or
look at
10
her.
years.
I think, to be honest with you, their whole division is Mercedes and Tony. That's what I
Okay.
think. I don't think they care about anybody else.
I
They're all filler, to
so
be honest with
I'm
you.
not trying, and again, I'm not trying
Yeah.
to.
No, it's a good
'Cause
question because it's irrelevant.
I think TK is a lot more, being a man of color
progressive.
himself, I think he's a lot more open.
Well, I mean, but even if you look at the major promotion, I mean, there's
Let's be honest,
folks of
WWE for
color,
quite a while,
you know.
Vince, I'm sorry, but I'm fairly certain Vince is absolutely. I mean,
I don't know him, but
Vince
they
went
there
and
was
dropped the N
still.
word on TV. Like,
Well,
I'm
I don't know.
sorry, but like Vince
I
McMahon,
Tony Atlas seemed to love
I'll
Vince.
also throw this one
Tony
out
blamed it
there.
all on Rocky
there's a
Johnson.
lot of people who,
Yeah.
Vince.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw this one out there too, and I don't want to sound like I'm tone deaf, so I don't want to come off that way. But also, us as a business, pro wrestling as a business, are we have a lot of different ethnicities that come in, but we're not the most heavily orientated with both African, Jamaican, anything like that. Any black performers as other sports necessarily are. They're like, do we have our stars? Yes, we have our Big Cat Ernie lads. We have our Booker T's. We have our Ron
Mhm.
Simmons.
Mhm.
I don't, and I also think that I do agree with you, Mozart. I think this is a point. We're at a point now in the world, in the wrestling world, where her being a person of color does not come into play with this. I will say for Athena, the reason why I don't think that this is her time is it feels like this build is a little bit too rushed.
Okay.
So I'm going on a logical standpoint. I think this is
That's what I
it.
feel too.
But you
Yeah.
think that she could
I think
be a
she can.
champion
I
within
think this
time?
is. I don't think that this should be her time. I'm also going to put this out here. I think this could be her time because Tony has been it
Mhm.
for a long time.
And this gives you a chance to build up that next
She can
level of person.
Good work.
Tony can lose the title, maybe take a step back for a little bit, maybe not have to be so focused. Sometimes you need that time away, and this
Mhm.
could be where they do it. Like,
Almost like
hey,
a chance to give her a reset to an extent.
yes,
Not that she necessarily needs a reset, but it gives her.
I don't even mean a reset of the character, but how can we miss you if you never go away?
I was thinking like a reset for her physically,
Yeah, like
emotionally,
she
Mhm.
needs time
mentally,
away to like refresh,
refresh herself.
you
Exactly.
know, get the mind right again.
So she's not burned out.
Her
Ultimately
significant
burned out.
other just spent a ton of time on the injury side of things.
Who's
So
her
I could see
significant
her
other again?
Juice Robinson.
That's right. That's right. She's married to Juice.
Um So I could see her losing this, but I could also I also think that the logical thing right now would be to have Tony Storm win this match. I think
Here's my issue
Athena
though.
is I like I said, I think Athena, if we were talking about Athena going after this even a month later than what we're talking about, if we were talking about All Out, I think that would be different. If we were talking about World's End, that would be different. I got it right that time. Thank you.
Yes, that's why I'm clapping for you. I'm glad you noticed.
So I think right now the proper choice is Tony Storm.
Here's
That's
my
a,
only
but
issue, and this is what I'm going to ask you. If not Athena, who? You know what I mean? Like,
no. See, that's the thing is, I'm not saying it's not Athena. I think this match needs to go to Tony Storm, though. This particular match.
could this be a situation where it becomes a no contest, a double DQ, something where you allow the
I
feud
could
to
see that.
extend a little further and take a little more time to build it? Where you
I
do
could see
then
that.
do have
And my
Athena
other side of
ultimately
this
win?
is, unfortunately, the was it Dynamite or was I don't know if it's Dynamite or Collision they're doing it on. They've been showing clips of Collision, even though it's happening because it's happening earlier than
Yeah.
how they're gonna broadcast it. But Athena hit Tony with a pile driver on the stairs. And I'm only saying this, that's a good opening to give Athena the title in this situation, but also it's a little bit like it should have happened a week and a half ago.
Right.
I think you should have done that. Had it be scared that she's not going to get cleared, have her come out, rip the neck brace off, do whatever, and then have Athena attack the neck the whole time. And then if Athena hits the Eclipse, I think it's still called the Eclipse.
I think that's what it's called. Something like that. Or
Then
no,
then it makes sense because it's a diving stunner off the top rope, and
it's a
it's an
really
actual
cool. I
stunner. So
love that
like,
move. It's so awesome.
so like that makes sense. You injured her neck and you're hitting her with a move on the neck. Again, psychology. Tony, my pen's right here, buddy. It's right here.
Yeah.
I got it.
But that's what I'm saying though. Like that was my only concern. If not Athena, you kind of in a way backed yourself into a corner. I
Like
guess
like I
the only
said,
one who
I
could is
do think it's
but
Athena.
Mercedes right now, absolutely not. She
Yeah.
would need to rebuild herself up.
I like I said, Slim, I think it is Athena. I think that
You just don't
tomorrow.
think it'll be this show.
I don't think it should be this show. I think
Okay.
it is still Athena. I think Athena, and I think giving Athena the title and then moving Mercedes towards Athena gives you a great match.
How about this? What do you think about this and all? And then I know we need to move on, but what do you if some kind of shenanigans happen, double DQ, double count out, something like that? Then you have a second match again, some kind of shenanigans, and then finally you end up with a big stipulation, a cage match, a no DQ, something to finish almost like we did the
blow-off.
first attempt in a regular match, didn't work. We did it in this kind of a match.
You get your blow off.
Then you get that blow off, and now you give Tony the chance to because now she loses because there's a stipulation.
I think that's where it should be.
For a while to recoup, and it creates a natural recuperation for her as well.
There are also a couple women kind of coming up the pike a little bit on AEW's women's division.
Alex Windsor, I think, has got
this goes back to as I'm listening to you guys converse on this goes back to the fundamental problem in wrestling. Too many titles, and you can't funnel enough challengers to them. That's the problem. It's not just like, oh, Mozart doesn't like titles. No, from a fan perspective, and if you've ever booked or talked to somebody who has, now you got to feed everybody. You have all these meaningless titles with nobody to go after them. It's a three-person women's division, and Athena, it just isn't ready at this point. So
I agree.
It's almost like too many mouths to feed, and
yeah.
But
well, if you're going to have a division of anything,
titles not enough mouths.
And and when this thing piloted years ago, when I was a young man and breaking in, and the women's division was taken off, it was a 2 or 3 woman division. They had nobody, and especially if you went back to the '80s when they were trying to kick it, like everything was controlled by my friend Moolah.
I was going to say, yeah, your buddy Moolah.
My buddy Moolah, yeah.
How about your friend Mae Young?
Mae Young, yeah, I ate that snatch more times than I like to admit. Taking a Bronco Buster from that old, yeah. But there was a 2 or 3 woman division, and it's stunk because you had all this talent like Rockin' Robin and you had Wendy Richter. But, Medusa was coming up Sherry. But
I hate to say this.
they had
I
these,
don't
like,
agree. I just didn't
you
find
know,
them to be that talented.
what's that?
Honestly, I didn't find the wrestlers to be really that talented in the female until you got to maybe the past 10 to 15 years.
They,
And the reason for that is because, and I blame
yeah.
Vince a lot for that.
Well,
Well,
they
I
were
Blame it on Vince
talented. They just
because
weren't
Vince
allowed to.
wants
I can tell
something.
you from an in-ring perspective, they were way better workers overall.
I'm sure
But
they
they
were.
weren't
They
allowed
weren't
to
giving.
be.
they weren't
I
allowed
agree
to
with that.
show it.
I agree.
They,
And it's not just a Vince thing. It was
yeah, it was
that
every
goes
promoter.
across
Yeah, they
across the
were
board. That
booked
goes
really
even
Vince
back to
bad.
really
territory.
pushed this. They have to be good looking. It's all
Um,
about tits and ass. It's all
well,
about
no, I'm talking before
their look.
that. No, I'm talking
But
about
yeah,
before
we're
that. I'm
talking
talking
like
about
the
like
Even in the
'80s with
like
80s, it
Medusa and
still was like
Sherry.
that.
Yeah, but
Sherry
even
was.
like if
Oh,
you look at
Sherry
the
could work.
No,
AWA and the
Sherry was
I
NWA,
phenomenal.
mean,
She was a
Sherry,
rare exception.
Medusa.
I
Um,
didn't think Medusa was that spectacular, honestly. She's
Medusa could work. Rockin'
okay.
Robin was
oh yeah,
really good.
Wendy Richter, she's
There was
okay.
Heidi Lee Morgan. There
Medusa
was
and
all
Wendy Richter are the
these.
same person, right?
What's that?
Were Medusa and Wendy Richter this? No, they were different.
No, no,
Yeah,
no.
they were
Debbie
different.
different people.
Debbie is
But I'm
Medusa.
saying
Yeah.
they were both solid, but
But
I
they
just think that, and again, I'm sure a lot of it was that they didn't get the respect that they deserved because they
But I
weren't
it's
mean
a
that's just
different
across
different
the board.
style too. Yeah, but there was a really good like May. I wrestled May in her 70s, and May was so good in the ring. Couldn't hear a thing, couldn't see anything,
but
but
she was
she
whooping her
knew
ass.
where to be and where. And that's the other thing, though. She was legitimately tough, and so was Moolah.
For those who
You know.
don't know this from the I Still Call It a Lariat family who don't know that story, you can tell it fast.
Oh, when I got beat up by Moolah,
Yeah, just real quick.
no, I did the loop. I did the circuit with Moolah and Mae Young in Delaware and Pennsylvania, and it was a 3 match run, and I became pretty close with both of them, and they treated us great, but they were tough. They were tough in the ring, and May did not have any qualms about beating the hell out of somebody. She hit hard, she hit safe, but it was really, really fun. Moolah was as technically sound as I'd ever been in the ring with. There were things that she could do, particularly flinging me around by my hair, like just grabbing my hair and throwing me down. There was such an art form to it. That's how good they were. Now, I think that the talented, the women today are just like when you look at the athleticism has gotten better, right, overall. But the in ring work, they don't know their way around the ring like Roddy did, like Harley did. No, they're not even close. It's not debatable. They're not Ric Flair. They're not Ricky the Dragon
But
Steamboat.
you're picking a couple of like a couple of the
But
greatest of
there's
all time.
well, and that's what I'm saying. We have not in this generation. This is a whole different show. I would debate the top of the top. Put me on with Stephanie and Triple H. We've not created a greatest of all time. It's
Steve,
not
pen,
Cena.
pen ready now and all. You're going for both
It's
promotions. Who's giving the biggest offer?
it's it's not and I love the work and I love the Anoa'i
I'm,
family, but it's not Reigns. We have not created a real star since Stone Cold Steve Austin. Period.
You don't think The
Haven't.
Rock? You know what? You wouldn't put The Rock on that list?
The Rock is there too. The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin are at the same time.
I agree. I think
After that, it's
personally, I think
all
Cena
just
is one of the most overrated wrestlers of all time.
well, it's all
Again,
pumping.
send your complaints to Howard Morgan.
Yeah, but that's just that's a whole different show. But I love all those guys, but the industry hasn't let them become the stars that the previous generations did. They've depended too much on those old stars, which
I
is I
agree.
honestly hope that Undertaker never steps in the ring again. Quit
I don't
depending
think he's
on
going to.
Taker. Let Taker go do his thing and be Mark now. Let him
Yeah.
go live his life. Stop bringing him back because you can't pop a rating. All right, there's my rant.
There is your rant. All right. So going from your rant, let's
hit it. Let's get Howard's match on
let's
here.
go into the world heavyweight title match
Okay.
with Hangman Adam Page defending the AEW world title against MJF. This is no longer MJF's cash in.
Okay.
Guys, I'm gonna finish my rabbit hole on this one. I'm gonna
Do it.
finish my yellow brick road.
Oh boy.
So I already said MJF is gonna screw the Hurt Syndicate. I think Bobby Lashley comes back out at the end of this match. And that is how Hangman retains. Hold on, wait, I'm not done yet.
Aaron, there's more, folks.
Oh, but wait, there's more. So Hangman retains the initial title. Don't forget, contract not cashed in yet. I think Bobby Lashley is going to come in to get actual revenge on MJF. Miss the spear, hit Hangman. MJF is going to hit him with the little metal thingy, the contract holder, and then sign the contract, beat Hangman, win the title. It's just confusing enough to make sense.
No, it definitely has some potential. I'm going to throw one out of left field for you. And this is a way out of left field.
I'm not doing a run in.
I'm
Oh,
doing
sorry,
a run in.
sorry.
I'm doing a run in.
I'm not flying to England right now.
Just kidding.
But I think it's going to be a run in. But I think you're right about the original aspect. How about a Mark Briscoe heel turn, and he actually comes out and helps MJF?
Nah, Mark's a great.
No.
He's a good face,
Mark
man.
is
Mark's
too
awesome.
hot. If they did this better, Mark should have already been the AEW World Heavyweight Champion.
No doubt
as a
about
babyface.
that. But would it make sense where almost like I could have set you on fire, but it was all a ruse, blah blah blah, something like that, and then.
No, I'm going to disagree with Mark Briscoe because, and I'm only disagreeing with him for this reason. There's doing something because it's edgy and it's cool, but also everybody wants to cheer Mark Briscoe.
Oh yeah.
But I'm saying if you had a heel
turning Mark Briscoe heel right now it's going too
amazing.
Far against the grain though.
I want to cheer Mark Briscoe. Mark, I'm cheering you, buddy.
Cena heel turn to an extent.
Who's that?
No, because I didn't like Cena's heel turn.
Well,
Cena's heel turn came. Cena's heel turn came when no one wanted it.
Cena's heel turn was a failure. Why do you think he's already babyface again?
Well, it was 50. I've said it 1,000 times. Yeah. It was 15 years too late.
It would have never worked. Yeah. We've had that conversation. It would have never worked.
We got the heel turn when no one wanted the heel turn.
They never really did. They let Cena be polarizing, that's what the business did. They had a shot at making their next Stone Cold and Rock, but they played with that too much. The business, whoever.
I'm just throwing it out there. I was just curious.
Yeah, because people talk to me about that all the time. Like, oh, Cena should have turned. No, he shouldn't have.
Well, no, I'm not talking. In this case, I'm talking about Briscoe doing the heel.
Oh, Briscoe. Well, let's face it. I mean, I knew those guys. I was close with them when they were young. Jay's gone. God rest his. I love Jay. You can't turn Mark heel on that. Mark is on fire right now. It's the wrong thing to do. It's the wrong thing to do on a lot of levels. I mean, I'm just talking from an emotional.
I'm not saying it's the right or wrong. I'm just throwing out there a potential scenario.
I've seen him walk onto that show, and at one point with Jay Lethal put on probably the most credible match that I've seen in maybe all of AEW. It just was really credible. Jay's great.
Who you just said. Mark
What's
Briscoe
that?
And Jay Lethal.
What's that?
You look who are the names that you just said.
Exactly.
Mark Briscoe and Jay Lethal.
Exactly. Two guys. I've never had the pleasure of meeting Jay, but Jay is really comes really well respected.
I have been lucky enough to work Jay Briscoe. I'm sorry, Jay
Lethal.
Jay Lethal. Yeah. I've been lucky enough to work Jay Lethal, and this was before before I've met either one of you. I was a young man in my career, which means that Jay was even younger. He was not even old enough to drink alcohol yet when I worked him.
Yeah.
And at 20 years old, I remember us having a conversation in the locker room, and he was supposed to go over. I'll pull the curtain back that much. And he was the heel in the match.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, what's your finisher? And I remember he told me what it was. And how he described it was like it was almost like a Michinoku driver, but out of like a fisherman suplex type of maneuver.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, even at the time, I was 6'2" and I was 210 pounds. So I was significantly bigger than Jay at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at him, I go, yeah, I'm not taking that move. And he goes, well, I'm the heel. I wouldn't hit you with that anyway. I should cheat to win.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, he gets it. He got it at 20 years old.
Oh yeah, a lot of guys. Well, I don't want to say a lot, but there are a handful of guys with that type of mentality. Mark was one of those guys too.
Yeah.
very much got it, very much knew how to tell the story. But I think that he's just a feel good story and should get his run for sure. You know, like I wouldn't want to see him heel as a fan, but that's
No.
just me. I
And
wouldn't
so
book him as a heel either. You know.
this match that we're looking at though, the Hangman Page versus
Yep.
MJF.
I
How
have
do
to
you
admit it,
see us coming out of this right now? Because
I,
this is a hard one to pick, because
I think
if
you're right.
Hangman's a transitional champion, it almost doesn't matter.
I don't see.
So
Listen,
hard.
Adam Page was a guy I'm a fan of his work. Right, Hangman's awesome, but I think there's something from a booking perspective. There's something like that. He's just not the top guy
It
yet.
feels to me like he's so much better on the chase than he is
I
with
think
the belt.
that's
If that makes
probably
sense.
where yeah.
He's the baby face that's better chasing.
He's
You
very
really
good
want to
on the
see him. You want to
chase.
see him succeed. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, come on, you know. And then
Yeah.
I'll put
I
it.
like
I'll
that
put
he
it in.
won, but I don't mind him being cheated to lose. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So
Because I
so I'll
still
put
want
it in
to.
perspective.
He's one of those guys in this case, like
Yeah.
you said, maybe he beats MJF clean the first time, or
I like his
beats
work
him,
though. Shoot.
he beats him, and then MJF cashes in, some kind of shenanigans that way. Like
Mhm.
that, at least to me. Oh my gosh, he got cheated out of the.
I'll compare him to someone else, Slim. So someone else that's really good, that was really good for the chase. But if you ever notice, he didn't have very long title runs, even though he held the title. Like he was kind of really important to hold the title. Sting
Mhm.
never had really long title runs.
No, he didn't need to,
really
did he? Wow.
You really
No,
That's a
wanted
good
to.
point.
You wanted.
you
You felt
loved
for
watching
Sting.
him
You
chase
wanted. Yeah.
Flair. You loved watching him chase Hollywood Hogan. You
Mhm.
loved Sting, knowing Sting was your guy, and he was gonna get the title eventually.
Yeah.
And then he
But
didn't hold it super long. You're right.
2-3 months, like his long title reign. I think his
Yeah.
longest title reign was maybe 6 months.
That might be like when I watch Hangman, that
And
might be it because I'd
because
rather
Sting
see
is one
him
of the
be the
greatest
guy
of all
that's
time,
I'm
Yeah.
rooting for
Oh,
him to
Sting is
get
one of
it.
the greatest of
Yeah.
all time. Absolutely. He's one of my favorites.
and he didn't have to
I
have. And that goes to show you. And I'm going to throw this to Mozart, especially.
Mhm.
It goes to show you don't have to be a champion for. I mean, heck, was it Roddy Piper, one of the greatest of all time, never was a world champion? I mean,
Paul
Never held a
Orndorff,
world
yeah,
title.
you
Mr.
don't have
Wonderful.
to
I
have. You
mean,
don't have to
Mr.
have
Wonderful
that
never held
Arn
a
title.
title.
Anderson. I mean, there's the list of
Jake the
people.
Snake
Jake
Roberts
the Snake
has
Roberts.
Yeah, I
The
didn't.
list of legends that didn't hold the belt is sometimes more compelling and even more interesting than the guys who did, because they're the guys that always solid runs. They ended up e- etching themselves in history as legends. We talk. Jimmy Snuka. There's so many guys that just didn't. Maybe they didn't need to. Maybe it wasn't their time. Maybe who knows? You know what I mean? But the point is that if you say greatest of all time and you leave out Paul Orndorff or Roddy Piper, there's something going on there.
Yeah.
There's something wrong.
And that's does Hangman Page get to kind of be in that? Maybe not. Obviously not in those because he has held the belt a couple times.
Yeah, yeah.
Or he doesn't have to have a long title run
No,
I
to
I
still
don't think he
cement
does.
himself as a
I
really good wrestler
I
this generation.
I think if Hangman holds the title, and the proof is in his first title run.
Mhm.
If you look at his first title run, everyone really wanted him to get that title, and
Yeah,
he wins it. And then by the end of it, everyone wanted him to lose that title.
He only held it though, if I remember, it was only a couple months, like maybe 3
But he
months.
held
at
it
most.
long enough for it to get stale.
And that's what I was about to say. But it's even though it was only a 2-3 month title reign, it felt
It
stale,
was long enough to
and
be
that's where
stale.
Page.
And I think
Now I will
that's
say
where
this: the growth of Adam Page. I think this title reign is different already, with the fire and brimstone that he's brought to his promos and his
Mhm.
I
work in the
do.
ring.
So
But
I
I
I will
also want that. I want him to lose it because I agree. I love him on the chase.
so
Mhm.
Slim, I do agree. I think his promos have gotten better. I think they've gotten a lot better.
Oh, yeah,
Let me
compared to
clarify
that,
that.
not even necessarily that first title run, even back to like a year ago, compared to like a year ago. I think that's
I
where that Swerve feud was so good for him because I feel like it
I
brought
I
that
will say
out of him.
this, and I think this is where someone else needs to jump in with Paige a little bit, because again, the different how we talked about Swerve's promos could go from like good to great, and all it takes is like this little bit. I think Paige's promos are very good. I think that if he tweaked just little things here and there. And it's little things. I'm very big on obviously aesthetics of wrestling, but I'm also very big uh on how language works.
Which is
And
ironic because he did the promo in Spanish in
in
Mexico,
Spanish,
which was
which I think the Spanish
phenomenal.
promo was his best promo.
It was absolutely fantastic. Even though, they had to translate it for us, it was still a
Here
fantastic
is
promo.
why I think, but here's where it is. Hangman Adam Page loves to convey whatever he's trying to say to everyone, but and especially as a babyface, I think he needs to start working in a couple of those contractions. If I was mad at you, Slim, I wouldn't be like, I am so mad at you and you cannot beat me. No, I'm gonna get in your face. I'm gonna be like, I'm so mad you can't beat me. I'm gonna mess you up.
I
He
get what you're
needs to
saying with
work.
that.
He needs
I
to work in some of that.
I think on the I actually kind of like, because if I remember he's like a Rhodes Scholar or something. If I remember, like I think he's got like he's like
I know
a
he's
pretty.
I know his original job was he was the teacher, and I'm not saying that he shouldn't be smart, but also
No,
you
no,
need to
no.
be
I'm
smart
not
enough to
saying
be
that
dumb
either. I'm
sometimes.
just saying from the perspective of I like that he does that, but I think sometimes when he does it too much, I agree with you.
He
It
does it too much.
becomes a
I
little
think that's why when he gets the pop is when he like
is
turns
a little more
and like all
himself.
of a sudden he gets a little bit more in your face about stuff.
I think also
Um,
too when he's a little more, it almost feels a little more authentic. Like it's almost
yeah,
feels like we're hearing from Adam Page, not the Hangman, if that makes sense.
exactly. All right, guys. I'm gonna move us on from the world title and let's move on to the lights out steel cage match. This is in fact a lights out match. Um, Mozart looks like he's giving us a break for a second, but this is one of the matches that he was actually excited for because he likes Kenny and he likes Will Ospreay. So
I think he's going to be fantastic.
we have the Golden Lovers, Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi, Darby Allin, Hiroshi Tanahashi, the ace from New Japan, Will Ospreay, and they are going to be facing the Death Riders, who are consisting of Claudio Castagnoli and John Moxley, Gabe Kidd, who I think is an honorary Death Rider. I'm not sure how he works in there, and the Young Bucks, the artists formerly known as Nicholas and Matthew, now just Nick and Matt Jackson.
First off, can we establish that what I have to give the Young Bucks credit? I
I like
wasn't
what they're doing right
sure.
now.
I wasn't sure how their egos would handle that kind of aspect that they've been getting. Like the way that they've kind of taken their
So,
characters. I have to actually tip my cap to them. They
so Mozart, just so you
surprised
know, we're
me.
talking about the cage match now. So this is
Okay.
Kenny Omega and Ospreay, the match that you said you were the other match that you said.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I have to say with the Jacksons, I have to tip my cap that their egos didn't, because I wasn't sure if they would lose the EVPs. I think we talked about
So
that. Like it
so
made
so
sense they wouldn't, but they did, and I'm glad.
here's where I'm going to give you a slight disagreement on the ego. Yeah, they're still doing they're doing stuff to make fun of themselves a little bit, but also at the end of the day, who's closing out the show?
Well, to be fair, a lot of times they have not been closing out the show. They
But
are in this particular case,
they're
obviously.
still closing out the show. Them and Moxley are still closing out this show.
Oh, sure. But I think Moxley closing out a show is fine. I think Moxley being in a big match like this is fine.
Oh,
I
I
just
think
did
this is the
not need to
perfect
see
match for
Moxley with the world title still around his waist. Or
Moxley
I guess
needs to
in his
never touch a
briefcase,
world title
whatever.
ever again.
I think, and he's one of those guys that it's like Mox doesn't need the title to be a menacing figure and have like this match should be
He needs to go
fantastic,
home
and
for a
he's
little
going to
bit.
be a big reason for why it's going to be a fantastic match.
I think this is the match that sends John Moxley a little bit.
That sets him what?
That sends him home for a little bit.
You
I
think
think
he's going
this
to
is
take a
the
little
match
time
that
off
he
to
that
recover?
we need time away from John Moxley. I think this title run has yes, I think the Hangman Page win over him was a success, but also I think the other 98% of that title run was not.
So almost like kind of like the idea of like have him go away for a little bit, and then what is it? Distance makes the heart grow fonder, or however that saying
I
goes.
Absolutely.
Let me go to the
And
old. Let me go to the old man of the group here
yeah,
to ask Mozart.
D, I was I like the match because I did Kenny Omega obviously, and I think Will Ospreay is just a freak of nature. So
He really is.
for me, I don't care who else is in the match. Let those guys do what they do because they're just that good at it.
I think if they're smart, you let all those guys cook, and that's what
Yeah,
they should
man.
do.
Like,
Let
no
them
offense,
cook.
but I'm looking at the other guys and I'm thinking, okay, that's cool. They'll be there to catch these guys doing all their insanity
yeah.
in there. That's what I'm thinking, But
Um,
But even
that's
the
just me being
even looking at like the Young Bucks being in this match, I think
mm,
that's a smart addition because the
yeah,
Young
well, because
Bucks
they're gonna
yeah,
do something.
you
They're
can
gonna do
yeah,
something
criticize them
very
for
young
a
bucky.
lot of stuff, but you can't
yeah.
criticize them for their ability in the ring.
I still think that both Kenny and Will are on a way different level than those guys, and
Oh
he's
yeah, I'm
several
not saying
several
they're not.
several
I'm just
levels
saying you can't
higher, to be
criticize
honest
their
with you.
ability.
But yeah,
I
they're
think
they're
Kenny and Will make more sense when they do stuff.
y'all
Where
their placement
I
is
can't
very
wait
yeah
for the one-on-one for a world title match between Kenny and Will when eventually Will's the champ.
I don't know
yeah.
Oh
if
my
that's gonna
God, that
happen.
will be
I think
absolutely amazing.
I honestly don't know if that's gonna happen. I think Kenny is positioning himself away from the world title on purpose.
Hmm.
I think eventually, I'm not saying that Kenny would win. I'm just saying I think they could have a match with
I
those two
I
or have
I
a program with
will
those two that would be fantastic.
I will say this: the people that I'm worried about in this match right now,
Okay,
and some of it's I'm worried because they're in the match. Some of it I'm worried because of for their health.
because they're in the match. No, I'm just
Darby
kidding.
Because
Allen.
they're in the match.
No, Darby
Uh,
Allen is what I'm worried about because Darby Allen is absolutely freaking out of his mind. That
if
dude
Darby Allen
routinely,
was not 120 pounds, he would be dead by this point.
yeah, that scares me. Darby being in
The
this
other
match
side of this, the
scares
other
me.
person I'm scared of for this match because he consistently has major injuries, and Slim, you and I have spoken about this, is Kota Ibushi.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Um, on the babyface side of this, I am worried about Hiroshi Tanahashi. Hiroshi Tanahashi can throw a frog splash still. He can throw the sling blade still. He
Wait,
can hit
wasn't he in
certain.
that other match? I'm just kidding.
Yes, he was. He can
he's
throw.
double doing it tonight. He's double
He,
dipping.
he can do wrestling moves, but if
Mhm.
you watch him walk down to the ring, he can't walk anymore.
I
That's
have a
I
sad
feeling.
to
I
me.
have a
That
feeling you're going
yeah.
to see him kind of get taken out a little bit early, like something where you don't
so
have to expose him.
I'm hoping. So I very much like Gabe Kidd. I think Gabe Kidd has
Mhm.
this cool mystique about him. The person, and I hate saying that. I hate what I'm about to say. By the way, guys, I gotta say it. I'm so over Claudio Castagnoli at this point.
What's that? I didn't hear you.
I'm over Claudio at this point. Claudio Castagnoli, Cesaro, whatever you want to call
Uh
him.
huh. Okay.
And it hurts me to say it because is he a good wrestler? Yes.
Hmm.
Has he could at one point he been considered one of the best wrestlers in the world? Absolutely. Has he been booked as such in the last 4 years, 5 years, 10 years? No. Not by either promotion, not
Yeah,
by either
it's a
company.
good point.
He has been booked into a spot where yeah, the most excited I was for that Death Rider run was at the very beginning. It made it look like Claudio was going to be booked as a monster. And then he ended up being Moxley's goon.
Side
He
piece,
was just
basically. Yeah,
he was Moxley's guy to take losses for him.
I have to say I am in agreement on that because it's so frustrating.
And it hurts. It hurts to say
He's
because of
so
how good he
talented,
is.
but I don't know for whatever reason it just isn't connecting properly. I don't know how else to say it. But and it does break my heart a little bit. So maybe that's where you have a situation where Claudio and where Tanahashi kind of take each other out a little bit, and it gets you let those guys almost be out of the chaos, if that makes sense.
I think so. I do think that I kind of think that the baby faces are gonna win this.
I'm gonna go in a disagreement with you in that one. I
You're going
just have this
heels.
feeling because some shenanigans are going to take place. I think that's what's
So
gonna happen.
I've thought about maybe the heels going over, especially since Osprey needs to take a little bit of time away.
And that's part of why I think that as well.
But I don't know if we're going with my idea that let me change that. Let me explain how I'm saying it. I think the heels should lose this match, and
Should
it
they?
should be
Yes. Should they? Absolutely.
and I think it should be because John Moxley goes away. And if they were going to build somebody up out of this match, a good person to build up in this case would be Gabe Kidd.
Yes, I agree with that.
And have him do the Triple H DX thing, where the next night or a couple days later, he comes out and bashes Moxley. I
So
think that would be
here's
cool.
my reasoning for why I think the heels will ultimately win, and that's because of Yuta and Marina Shafir and that kind of thing.
You don't know
Unless the
Marina
only way
Shafir.
that wouldn't be the case is if and also here's what I'm going to throw out there, where Statlander also gets involved to help Moxley in
Oh
there.
yeah, they've been working all that stuff.
So I could see that going in there. Now again, should the heels win? Absolutely not. The heels should lose. You should take this win and allow Ospreay to go take some time off, Moxley to get a little time away. You know,
Hiroshi
Claudio go
Tanahashi
take some
should
time
hang up the
away.
boots.
Like if they were smart, that's the way you do it. And you know, you still have the Bucks, you still have Gabe Kidd. You know, you would still have God willing, assuming Darby doesn't die, which
He'll
I
never die.
say that not jokingly. I really am serious. Like I thought this dude
I
was going to
I
die.
have a lot of trouble watching him wrestle because it's just dangerous. It's just not necessary, and it's not. There's nothing about it that's necessary or entertaining to me. I wish the dude would would just say, "Look, man, I'm going to employ a different style. You
Yeah.
can do you can do a cool move when it's appropriate. I mean, Kenny, look at everybody should be looking to Kenny and Will Ospreay on that, right? Because there's nothing they can't do. There's nothing that's not amazing that they do. It's like AJ. It's like AJ Styles, right? Nothing the guy and AJ is even been in a lot of interviews where he's slowing down. He's changing his style, man, because it hurts after a while.
Yeah.
You're beating yourself up. This kid is just absolutely crashing and burning like he's 300 pounds of Cactus Jack, and like Steve said, he's not. It's just sad to watch. Who thinks that when you're sitting down with this guy? I don't know if it's Tony, if it's CD. I don't know who it is. Why are you killing yourself, man?
And they might be having that conversation with him, like,
Why? Well, but
Darby,
they can
what are you
stop it. But they
doing?
have the power to stop it, or you don't
Yeah.
get
So
booked.
somebody needs to stop him.
You know, I mean,
And don't get me wrong, I enjoy Darby Allin. I think
I
he's super talented. I just am
I think
still
he's
afraid
awesome.
to
I think
kill
he's
him.
great, talented. But I would,
I think
if
he
I
needs
could
to
sit
slow
down
down
with
though.
the, I would
I don't
love
want
to
to see him
wrestle
die.
him.
I don't
I
want to
would
see
love
any
to
wrestler
wrestle
die.
him because I could guarantee you, I could work him as a heel, and he would be more over than he's probably ever been over, and not have to do any of that stuff.
I didn't even want to
Mozart, I
see.
told
I
you,
didn't even want to
and
see a certain person from ECW who told me that he hoped I had a heart attack and die. I didn't even want to see him die, even though he died. Not
No, you don't want to see somebody crash and burn like that because I think he's got such an
Steve
awesome
was like, I think I
look,
know who
and
he's
he's
talking.
got
he
so
has.
much charisma.
Oh yeah, he's got again. He has
You
that
know,
Jeff Hardy feel about him.
he does, and
He's got that Jeff Hardy
well,
feel about him.
I was gonna say Jeff's not there anymore, but maybe Jeff should have been the guy to sit him down because
I,
Jeff crashed and
Well,
burned and
let's
he
be
hurt
honest. Jeff
himself.
was probably a little, you know.
So
But that's
here's
what
my
led
thing,
to it.
and to your point, Mozart. To your point,
He's great though. He's awesome kid.
He is super
Darby.
talented. I just, like I said, I'm just
Yeah.
worried he's going to die. That's my only
So
one.
so to Mozart's point, and Slim, you can we can agree to disagree about this person's character or whatever it is that we might. Darby's best match in AEW was CM Punk.
Yeah, it was a solid match.
It's
I
a
have to say though, I thought his matches with Sting and tagging with Sting were also
so,
fantastic.
but again, all right. Let me clarify. His best
minus
singles
the
match,
fall
his
from
best
minus the fall
one-on-one
in Sting's
match.
final match where he like fell friggin' 30 feet
Yeah, and
through a glass.
Yeah, and
Minus
they
that.
almost got sued for that. They almost got sued because they used real glass.
Well, no, that was you're thinking of the thing that got Punk fired.
No, they almost got at at Revolution when Sting's last match when Darby went in. They almost got sued for that match because the glass hit the fans.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah, again. So and they used real glass because it was the only thing that would have held up.
That's where the office has to step in. It's their
Someone has to,
responsibility.
yeah.
No
That's
I
usually
question.
would have
where I'm
said
at with
instead of
some of this.
glass, do a bunch of tables or something. Maybe you go
There's so many different things that you
something
can
else,
do differently.
Don't do
Yeah.
that spot.
or that too.
At what point, though, and this is where kind of our rabbit holes always lead. At what point is it not wrestling anymore? That's not wrestling. Because
I
I'll tell you, I've, for those who've been in a real fight, nobody throws anybody through glass, goes to their trunk to get a barbed wire bat. There's a realism that we've lost in those type of matches that's ridiculous. I don't care how much you bleed, get cut, get hit. I don't want it. That's not my style. That's
I
not what
hate
I
to say
do.
it like
Uh,
this, but it's the CZW type
you know,
of
well,
it's a
and that's the problem is
where
Mozart. I said this to
everybody
you,
wants to
Slim. I
go,
don't
oh,
think
it's
I've said this to
PCW, but it's
you.
not.
We've gone so far in the train wreck direction
how do we bring it back?
that
Agreed.
nothing is shocking anymore. Like
Nothing.
people
Yeah, you're
doing stuff,
right.
like you're not shocked unless
Can
someone
I
gets
say it this way,
beheaded in the
though?
ring.
Steve, can I say it this way?
Yeah.
Is that a reflection of society? Society has gone so far in that way in general, where even in like not just wrestling, but in any aspect, we're like, eh. I mean, hell, we
I
have,
mean,
you know,
kind of.
I'm
But
not gonna
my
try
other
to
side
make
of
it,
this
I'm not
is
trying to make it a politics kind of thing, but you look at political stuff where people are saying some of these things that are just so out of whack, out of pocket. You got people trying to kill each other, like, and we just go ho hum, and
yeah.
who cares? And we
Well,
move.
no,
And it's like,
and that's the thing. I don't disagree with you on that one. My thing is, like Mozart said, how do we bring it back? I think honestly, you have to do almost a complete reset at this point.
You do.
I would
bring
when
the
we open up this
territories back.
promotion when we open up this promotion with Howard's money,
With Howard's money, exactly. Because it's
like
because I'm gonna get
Send
that
your
money out of
complaints, your
Howard.
emails, and your questions to at Howard Morgan.
congratulations, everyone needs to lock up. Everyone needs
Yes.
like old school wrestling rules might be incorporated. I might throw a DQ at somebody if they hit somebody
Right.
with a closed fist.
Exactly.
I'm just saying, like, all of a sudden, if you make the rules matter again.
Yeah.
If you make a move matter, Mozart, me and you were talking about, all three of us were talking about
hmm
Kyle Fletcher's beautiful brainbuster.
Oh my goodness. Beautiful
But if
move.
everyone kicks out of it every time he throws it, it
Then what's the
doesn't
purpose?
matter
It's
anymore.
not a finish.
Now
Mhm.
then, if he hits it and basically sends someone to the hospital every single time because he should, because the guy is up 6.5 feet in the air and dropped on his skull.
And
Mhm.
sometimes he does it where he does it onto the turnbuckle.
And
Well,
and
that's
here's
like
the
even
thing,
more devastating.
I think the regular one is actually prettier than that one.
Yeah, the
Oh, I'm not
impact of
disputing
that.
that. That one is awesome too. I'm just saying
I
in general, it's
I
like
think
good
the
lord.
one on the turnbuckle needs to be saved for the All Outs, the world title match against Will Ospreay at All Out. That's when he breaks
Oh
that out.
man, wouldn't that be tremendous? Wow.
That's what I'm saying. But
Mhm.
it's all of that. We've gone so far to the right, and I don't mean politically. I just mean we've gone all the way over
Well,
here
maybe you mean it politically too, but that's a different story for a different day.
that we need to reset and go all the way back to the starting line and
Mhm.
teach people what wrestling is, and honestly, how footwork should be, and how knowing
That-
where you
That's
are
what
in
I'm
the
saying.
ring
Yeah.
and how to work a crowd, and the difference between and I'll say this one. I very, very much like Stokely Hathaway, the manager for FTR.
Mhm.
But even he needs to understand that being entertaining and being funny are two different things.
Yeah.
To an extent, yes. To
There's
an extent, no.
being funny has the right point where when he did the promo about, man, I'm short, I'm bald, I don't get any honeys, like
Uh-huh.
that was great. But then when he had the match with Copeland, he started being funny after he got the crap kicked out of him.
Fellas,
That was
my
the point he
apologies. I
needed to
actually have to
be.
run. I
Okay,
apologize. And
guys,
I'll
I'm
Run
actually
away.
gonna
Run.
message you. I'll message you in a little bit to
Yeah,
let you know why.
Yeah. Thank you, brother.
Let's do with that
Slim, thank you
situation
so much,
from
man.
earlier
This
I
has
was
been
telling you
fun.
about.
Thanks for being a
Yep.
part of the first live.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. You have a wonderful night, both of you.
You got it, man.
So Mozart, real quick
Yep.
though, it was the point where like he got beat up and like
Mhm.
started doing funny stuff. That's the point. I was gonna use actually Slim as the example. Him
Yeah.
being a manager should know. No, now I want my guys to beat you up. They need to get you.
Right. Oh.
So Mozart, normally I'd keep us going down these rabbit holes, but we have talked about Forbidden Door now for 2 hours, which
Nice.
is about 4 hours shorter than this pay-per-view is gonna go.
And my camera I'm dropping my camera all over the place here.
So I think it's time to call it a night. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, man.
Legion, if you have watched us, I appreciate you. Thank you for this test of us going on with seeing if we could do this live. This has gone a bit longer than we planned, but that's what happens with me and Mozart. We like to talk.
Always. I hope
Always.
we're entertaining because we certainly entertain each other.
We entertain ourselves. Legion, as always, thank you for tuning in. If you watched us, if you like what we said, let us know. If you don't like what we said, let us know that too, because I'd love to hear from you guys. Mozart, as always, I love you. Thank you for being the
Thank
new
you,
star
brother.
of the network. And as always, guys, remember
I'm
to tuck
humbled.
your chin when you bump.
Absolutely.